Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Yesterday, actually had a couple of bangers for the VESL. Said E weird. VESL, $15,000 Valorant regional qualifiers. We were back here today to see hopefully even more awesome games. This time around, 3 best of ones. Yesterday, a bit of a marathon, I suppose, in comparison, especially because that first match of the day went to multiple overtimes, but it was a lot of fun. That was the Audrey Kell versus JT Williams best of one Captain Atoka. And since we do need to buy a little bit of time, I am just going to ask you, is that probably the best, most exciting match of the day? Because I think that's kind of a fact, right?
Oh, what, you talking about the one that went into like 30 plus rounds in OT? Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that was a banger and a half. Not to mention, wasn't that like the first game of the day too? So like it set the bar extremely high for every single game that followed. And don't get me wrong, I love every match of Valorant, but none of them meet the expectations. I mean, it was, again, like that first game was just pinnacle. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but you said we got 3 best of ones today instead of
I
4?
believe. Yeah, I think that is the slight change that we have today. We tried to fit in as much as possible yesterday, and even went over, I guess, the kind of expected time. But now we're going into 3 matches today. So we got West Mecklenburg High versus North Mecklenburg High. That's going to be really, really. I'm just going to call them West versus North when we get in there.
Just stick with Mecklenburg. Like I'm telling you.
Okay.
I went through this last season. Just north, south, east, west, mech. There, literally every direction on the compass. Mech, the battle of the mech, the mechas. It's gonna happen, but it's usually great games though. Whenever you have mech versus mech, doesn't matter where they're from. It's usually a pretty good game.
God, that's exciting. I am have to get used to the word mech. West mech. Let's call them that. North mech. That's what's going to be the first best of one of today. And then we have Reedsville. I'm going to go with Reedsville High versus Wake Young's Men's Leadership Academy. And then finally Cab Tech versus Green Level High. So that'll be on the A stream, which is currently what you're watching, but there is also a B stream and tons more games that are actually happening during all of this. A lot of teams in a few different groups, all trying to get to the playoffs, which start on Thursday and go on to Friday. That's right. We're going to be coming back at you every single day on this channel till Friday, and then we say goodbye for a little while, but until that point, we want to see some excellent Valorant. Hopefully we're going to get into it soon.
Oh, absolutely. But one thing, again, I gotta ask, because as we all know, as we are getting back into another wonderful day of Valorant here at VESL, that also means that we're going to have more of the Zombie and Ahsoka show. It's going to happen. And, for now, I couldn't help but notice, is there a kitty cat in the background over there? It looked like...
Oh, probably.
It looked like there was a kitty cat over there. What's their name?
Well, there are 5 cats in this household. So
I definitely saw one.
Yeah, definitely. You probably saw a Zigster. Ziggy Piggy.
Little fluffy black tail.
Yeah, he's got a weird tail. He was cramped along with other kittens in his mom's tummy, so his tail got all like weird, so it looks a little fluffy. But yeah, that's the Zigster Pigster. He's my tuxedo cat. And then Apollo, the white cat, and then a black cat's up there. They all like hanging down with me, so you'll probably see quite a few in the background if I was on all the time, I suppose. But we like Valorant. I am getting news, by the way, that we should actually have a 4th match today. So what I read earlier was incorrect. We have also Green Hope B versus West Forsyth. Nailed that pronunciation.
Yeah, I was about to say, VESL usually doesn't, we don't skim on the action, okay? If anything, we'd be bringing you an extra game. We're not going to dock you one. I mean, this is VESL. This is Valorant VESL of all things. We're going to be bringing you the most that we possibly can. Even if, they tell us, we should probably cut one, we'll be like, nah, it's all gas, no brakes, all high stakes here at VESL, and we're going to be popping off for sure. So I can't wait to get into these Valorant matches, and hopefully, again, only if we've been good this year will we see a map other than Ascent. Not that I don't like Ascent, I love Ascent, but we saw it 3 times out of the 4 matches yesterday, and then the one map that we got, Lotus, it was like over in 3 minutes. And you clocked it.
I tried. I avoided actually saying the minutes just to, kind of, but anyway, but yeah, that was the, unfortunately, very one-sided one, because it is too bad. I think Lotus has a lot of fun spots that we could have been talking about, but to be honest, it wasn't just kind of one-sided in the score. It was also just the defenders were constantly on offense, and then there's one round of attack, so you didn't even really get to see the whole map. That's very unfortunate because Lotus is also kind of pretty. But anyway, I hope we see it today. Basically, I'm with you. I hope we see something besides Ascents, but it is such a comfy map, and it is a best of one, and you want to play on the one that's gonna be the most even as well, attack versus defense. So it kind of has to happen, I guess. We're probably gonna see it a few more times in the week here.
Yeah, and you know what? I am also looking forward to seeing what type of compositions are going to be coming out today, because again, yesterday we saw some pretty interesting ones. We seen some that aligned with the meta, some not so much, and also, not to mention, saw some great Phoenix gameplay. Phoenix and Cypher, I think, were the standout agents yesterday. Those are the two agents that I think popped off, and again, both times they were on Ascent, go figure. But again,
Yeah.
so I'm waiting to see, you know, what other surprises may be looming around the corner, because, you know, when we talk about like a lot of these pop-off moments, you expect, you know, something along the lines of a Jet, Arena, you know, maybe even a Sova or a Breach, you know, something along the lines with a meta, or, you know, sometimes even Omens as well. Omens be popping off. But to start things off here at VESL Valorant, we were able to see a Cypher and a Phoenix. Those usually don't come up into conversation too much when we talk about big standout, you know, performances, and yet that's what we got to start things off here at VESL on day one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Seems to be comfy picks for some of the standout stars in general, but an excellent usage of the actual agents. We are still waiting to get the first match underway, guys. So while we wait, let's go ahead and check out the STEM announcement we got lined up. Here we go.
All right, welcome everybody. I am so relieved to tell you all that the next STEM season starts right now, and it starts with a first of its kind by VESL for VESL STEM esport. It's called Roboverse, and it's a game where you take a little bit of math and a lot of AI in order to create your own robot that competes against your opponent's robots. Now, you're going to be using the heuristic algorithms that we teach you to create your own unique robot with its own unique behaviors. Now, what are they doing? They are placed on a platform of grids, suspended above a pool of lava, and of course, robots don't like water. So your robot is going to use that algorithm to maneuver on those platforms, trying to not fall in while trapping your opponents in a situation where they fall in the pool of lava. Or water, I should say. Now, to show you this game, our producer, Mr. Pizza Time, is going to show you a very quick video. Here we go. All right, that was pretty cool. What do you think?
That was awesome.
I know, it's going to be insane. Now, for the two people who are not yet sold, I'm also here to tell you that this season's tournament features a fantastic prize. This tournament is taking place very early next year, 2024, somewhere around February or January. And the first place prize, among other prizes throughout the tournament, includes an entire home gaming setup. I'm talking about the desktop, monitor, mouse, keyboard, mouse pad, even the gosh darn chair, which we're excited about, the whole thing. So you can play Roboverse for a very long time without getting tired. Now that I have your attention and everybody wants to go play it, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and go over to the VESL Discord announcements channel where you can, learn how to play Roboverse starting literally right now. All right.
Man, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get my hands on some Roboverse.
I know. I want to see how well your robot does.
Am I allowed to win a full setup?
Well, I don't know if necessarily you're allowed to win, but of course everybody in VESL
a full setup.
Is.
That is going to be insane to see.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to take it home.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm a little scared of JT Williams. They seem to be pretty strong in the STEM division. And I don't know. Honestly, I think they'll crush it.
I don't know. They kind of fell out last season.
You think? Wait.
Pretty sure it was Garinger that took it home.
Did take the win.
Took it home last season. So, and we have a bunch of new schools inside of VESL this season. So, you never know. It could be anybody. It's up for grabs.
Certainly true.
So, can't wait to see who's able to take home that full setup.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Can't wait.
I think is our match set up and ready to roll? So we are still waiting on the match.
That's okay.
Yeah, everybody go check out some Roboverse, and maybe you guys can go into start to teach me how to play it. It can be one of the risk or teach risk gaming.
Oh yeah, I could send you the link to the curriculum so you can get an advantage over these high schoolers.
Ooh, I get an early access.
Early
You hear
access.
this? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
And then we can see what student can beat me at it.
I would love to see that. Ooh, risk. I don't know. How confident are you?
Risk versus
going
North
into this?
Carolina.
North Carolina. Oh my, that's a headline if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. All right, so since we have you here and we won't keep you all night, so our first match is going to be North Mech versus West Mech, I believe.
Okay. 2 mechs.
Yeah, the Battle of the Mechs.
Is there an East mech?
There is an East Mech,
they
so we
playing
are
tonight?
missing East Mech.
Darn.
They are playing tonight, but they are playing in a different group. Thoughts? West Mech is not new. They had a team last season, I believe,
Okay.
and North Mech did too. So interested to see if the rosters change. Any predictions for tonight from you?
Well, to be honest, I think I have to give it to West Mech. We saw, I think yesterday, a school who's very new to playing got absolutely dominated by a full stack of ops. There were 5 ops against that team, and if we see 5 ops come out again tonight, I'm sorry, I'm going to put my money on the more veteran team. But hey, this is where our teams get to see or that's where our teams get experience, especially experience in a very stressful situation being on stream.
So we came, as I was just told, it does look like we have 2 players that haven't showed up for their match, which is upsetting to see. Guys, I get sometimes stuff happens, but man, you're leaving your teammates out to dry. Maybe our producer can give us more information on which team. I believe it is West Mech that is going to be running a 3v5 tonight, which is unfortunate to see. Maybe they can pull it out. Maybe we see something epic. 3v5.
West Mech is the experienced team, right?
They both played last season, so they have
okay.
experience. I think North Mech might have had a better record last season, if I'm thinking correctly. But we'll see. We'll see what West Mech can do. No, North Mech is not a team to play around with. So we'll see what happens tonight.
I will say, I mean, if
I got to pull for the underdog.
Yeah,
go for West or West
absolutely.
Mech.
There's still a chance, and if they were to pull it off, could you imagine the legends that they would become?
Dude, it would be insane to see it 3v5.
Like everybody would have to bow down.
Like
to them.
4v5 is hard enough, but like a 3v5, that's insane.
If they
it is
can
insane
win,
to do.
That's it. I'm sorry. That's just go ahead and give them the trophy.
Yeah, it would be like somebody beating me in Roboverse.
Nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible, especially when I get that early access.
Oh yeah.
So, question, since we're still here. Roboverse, is there any add-ons that are going to come to the game that you can kind of leak out there later on?
I can't leak anything as of now. However, there are a lot of coming soon game modes, so we shall see.
Team deathmatch.
Ooh. Now there's an interesting proposition.
I will say a 5v5, make the field a little bigger.
If you're itching for some team action right now, you can always play with more than just 2 robots. You can play it with up to 8.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was a 1v1 situation. I didn't realize you could play up to 8 players.
In tournament situations, it will be 1v1, but yeah, up to 8.
That's awesome.
It gets crazy.
Awesome to see. We have a lot of different things that are being worked on behind the scene for VESL. A lot of things coming up. So I think we are going to pass it back over to the casters as they start to get into the action of this West Mech versus North Mech, Battle of the Mechs.
Can't wait.
Interested to see.
Oh yeah.
And welcome back, everyone. So yeah, you didn't quite catch that. So there's going to be an oddity here, which is that West Mech is going to be playing with 3 players: Apollo, Capybara, and Tuna. Different type of Valorant casting yet again, Captain Ahsoka. It's going to be interesting, I guess, kind of trying to keep track of what they can do with, I guess, the extra ult orbs or composition they can make. I don't know. They're clearly at a huge disadvantage, but still willing to play it out.
I mean, you know, kudos to them too, you know, even being at a disadvantage and still electing to kind of run with it and just play on. You know, you got to give them credit for that, for sure. I mean, honestly, in similar situations, I can't imagine most would still be willing to go through with it. But again, you got to give them credit for that type of fortitude to play on. And again, it just shows that, you know, they have at least some passion that can possibly be a driving force that will lead them to maybe a victory. I say that cautiously, okay? But at the same time, I just gotta applaud the fact that they're still here.
It is pretty cool of them, yeah. I think you can still have fun, and as far as fun, you know, if you do kind of accept that it's most likely going to be a loss, I think there's something to be said about actually like 3v5 situations, being able to build those orbs and get the ult super quickly and have some fun. We could solve a couple of pop-off moments from a character like Reyna, right, who kind of thrives in the solo situation. Now still would like a full team behind him, but you know, whatever. Let's just wait and see what's actually going to happen. So yeah, actually, I never had this happen in a what I would suppose is a custom game. So do they not get extra orb ults?
It's not looking that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I've never had it in a custom game either, because, you know, I don't play custom games because I've never had anybody, you know, actually invite me, you know, rip. Yeah, no, I haven't been invited to any custom games. So in the rank mode, yeah, they give you, like, you know, more orbs, you know, to kind of compensate, but I don't think that's the case here.
Apparently not. So that's that actually takes away some of the fun factor that I was trying to think of. Absolutely, because you know, 4v5, I think we've all had that happen in our ladder games, and there's actually something that can happen there. But 3v5, that is a tall ask. But at least you could try and like play around with some really fast ults. You know, the Phoenix perhaps could get not on the team, but still could get so many Phoenix ults, with 6 being it. But I don't know. We are seeing the action unfold, and it is going unsurprisingly in the way of North Mech, who has 5 members on the team. But Apollo's looking for one more. The Reyna, without much to do here. No scout as well, and yeah, just try and
spike planted.
Take out casual 4 people. Easy peasy.
Oh, absolutely. And then, you know, even on the analyst desk, they were saying that, you know, North Mech was actually the mech with the better record here. So not from last season anyway. So not only are they at a player disadvantage, but they might be at an overall disadvantage, you know, given experience, you know, because North Mech, you know, being able to withstand a better record last season, you know, probably gave them a good amount of momentum going into this new season, gave them a good boost of morale. But unfortunately for West Mech, it's going to be some quick work here in round number 1 as we are underway now here on Ascent, and North Mech is going to take a 1-round lead.
There's absolutely no favors given to the team missing 2 people. I mean, there's literally no benefit, which is, you know, kind of what you'd expect, I suppose, if they can't grab a full team, but still feels even more discouraging. So yeah, I suppose even more credit to them for actually trying to play this out, do their best. But without those extra 2 agents, you know, whatever they are, even if they were some of the worst Valorant players in the world, not saying that their teammates actually are, but just a what if. They're like, we can grab someone. Okay, only the worst Valorant players in the world are available. it still would be something as far as utility, right? Like the more experienced person would be like, hey, could you throw that smoke out there? And it would hopefully still be able to do that. But you're just literally missing it. So, I mean, not only that, you can only cover so many locations. Obviously, angles, so many to cover. But literally, when it comes to like A or B defense, I mean, they're really trying to make do with what they got. You can see they're taking it as seriously as they can, not just all full sending it into mid and having a knife fight. But it is more than a David versus Goliath situation. I don't know what's more than it, but 2v3, it is possible now.
It is, and you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that. You know, they could even use the benefit of, you know, what could even be like the worst Valorant players alive. You know, which makes me comfortable in saying that, you know, I'd be willing to jump on for them, you know, to help whatever minimally that I can. You know, I'd be, you know, if it was allowed, I'd be in that lobby right now holding it down for West Mech.
I'd be willing to help out as well. I'm not particularly
and we got a full
but
team.
I know the buttons, you know. Yeah, exactly. We don't have a full team. We could just cast as we play too. It'd be fine. I don't even think it would give them that much more of an advantage, you know. So it'd actually probably be pretty fair.
I think so. And you know what? I think if maybe next time we got to make a mental note is that if this were to occur again, the casters just, you know, we get to jump in and play the game, because I got to tell you, it's not just the fact that they lost, or rather they don't have one player, but two. What are the odds that two players from your team at the same time aren't able to show up? So I mean, even with a 4v5, that's still doable, that's still winnable, but a 3v5, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I actually 100% agree, because as I said, I think a lot of people here out in chats or in production or whatever, they play Valorant. It's maybe even likely, honestly, that one person leaves. That's what it feels like anyway. And yet, unless you have the Debbie Downer teammates, it's actually playable. And there's, I guess, so much variance on ladder, so there is always that. But I would say amongst the non-professionals, there's also still that variance, you know, the fact that one person could be as good as two. Absolutely exists on the ladder, and maybe could have existed here, but they're gonna have to be, you know, making up for so much more, and it just is. It's anything they get is impressive. This 2v2 that they have set up is impressive, and they actually are going to get around. Oh no, I think the Q's coming in too late.
Clutch.
Oh, no. They were so close. But okay, so that technically didn't happen. That is so impressive. They were still able to set up for that.
Yeah, it looked good, you know, even though it was technically a round that was lost that went in favor of North Mech. Hey, that was a good looking loss. That was a good looking round. I got to give it to West Mech again. Like you said, you know, they definitely put up a fight there. They won the numbers game at the end. They were able to sway the body count back into their favor, but there just simply wasn't enough time, and I'm pretty sure North Mech knew that. That's why, you know, the last player there decided to get off a spike. They knew the detonation was inevitable, and now it's a 3-0 lead in the favor of North Mech.
West Mech, very proud of getting so close. Hopefully they can be proud of any wins they actually do get here. Reyna with the ults on their side. Again, you know, if you're going to have a standout star, Reyna is going to be good for that. And you're going to need to actually have one person make up for the two non-agents that you have. I mean, Reyna could. It's kind of popular for that, and certainly in the ladder. Tuna is absolutely helping out as well. Sheriff headshot, which is really nice, but does get taken down. But since it is a 2v4, maybe another person kind of gets an isolated duel. They go down to the better pistol weaponry of a pistol weaponry, sorry. That doesn't make any sense. The better shots, there we go. And then it can happen. But Soulbound able to get the surprise on Apollo there, so that just leaves the one. And I gotta say, when it's down to one, I just don't think they're going to overpower 4 people still left on the board.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises here. North Mech again with a significant advantage are able to capitalize, and now they have a nice stack of cash to go with it. I mean, you're looking at, you know, an economy that has gotten 4 unanswered wins, and now they're going, you know, with a full Phantom Tantrum. Also at the same time, you got What a Bot. Looks like they're trying to get some gelato, but that's some pretty strong glass. I don't think they're going to be getting any.
I don't think so. If only all those colors represented some type of buff. Apollo swings out and grabs the first. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's always great to see. Still having 3, also all on the correct sites, but obviously rotation can happen. Plenty of time to do so. Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. But they don't have to commit, though. I mean, they could really just kind of fake this out and then go back, knowing that there certainly won't be anything set up on the other site if they rush over there pretty quickly, and that's exactly the case here.
And only the lone Reyna right now from Westmac is actually taking a look at B, and it's unfortunate because there's no one else there to watch for them. But you can see now they are going to be making their way to mid. Look at Apollo, going to be able to get a read here, but the smoke shot from Gamer Girl finds its mark, and now only 2 remain for Westmac.
They're in the appropriate position. They know that everyone's coming. One at a time would be so nice of you. Tuna grabs Waterbots who just stuck their head out in the 2v3. Absolutely doable. We even got a little bit of a time issue, but you know, it would be an issue if someone was here to stall them out, but that is the lack of agents on the field right now. So really for them, plenty of time. 20 seconds, getting the spike down. And now it's going to be a retake. Very possible one. Don't think the Omen ult's really going to come into effect so much here, but perhaps just some good old-fashioned gun battles. Going the way of Westmec, it could happen.
Well, here they come. They're going to try. I mean, a 2v3 retake, it's not like it's unheard of. We have seen these type of plays happen before. But with that being said, now it's a 1v2. Still winnable, but after getting blinded out by the guiding light, it's not going to do any good. And NorthMech able to secure yet another win. But again, you know, at this point, if you're Westmech, I just feel like it's going to become an issue. Not even an issue, but I feel like it's going to become a battle of, you know, eliminations. Because again, you are at a disadvantage. So as long as you're at that disadvantage, you might as well try and do as much damage as possible. I'll be honest, if I'm on the side of Westmech right now, I'm just trying to catch as many bodies as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to get some good practice as well. I think the desk was kind of talking about how getting practice in this type of state, a competitive state, is actually quite valuable. So even though this doesn't feel fair, because it's not 3v5, I mean, there's still something to be said about trying to make do with limitations, almost like training with weights, you know, weighted Goku style. And it is incredibly difficult, especially when the Cypher ult comes down and reveals where you are. The only thing you might have had going for you is that they weren't sure. And Westmec didn't have exactly the guns to work out very well here anyway. They chased down, and that is a flawless, the first one, I believe, for the uneven 5 vs 3. It's pretty good on the side of Westmec to stop that from happening repeatedly.
Yeah, you know, we're starting to see the approach kind of what we saw yesterday on Lotus, where they just kind of go all gas, no brakes, holding W key into their opponents and, you know, just trying to find eliminations. And you know what? I wouldn't blame them, especially when you have that advantage. But right now, it is still 6-0 in the favor of NorthMech. And you know what? I'd honestly be surprised if Westmech didn't get at least 1 round win throughout this endeavor. I could see them pulling a dub out.
I think so, considering some of the previous rounds were actually quite close and certainly got into doable situations. 2v4, we don't really consider that too great unless there's some magic of guns and utility or ult available, but 2v3, absolutely possible. Especially if there might be an overconfidence issue from NorthMech, which may have explained one of those rounds that got super, super close. But I think they have been reminded to still take this quite seriously, and they haven't really gone full run and gun as of yet. A little bit on that hunt in the last round, but it's not like they're just chasing forward and doing YOLO styles.
Well, not yet, but they are going to be looking for another flawless victory here, and they're not going to get it. Apollo, thanks to the kill feed, is able to get an elimination on the Soulbound. And down goes the spike on the B site yet again as the spike continues to take away Westmech. Not able to find any luck so far, and now they're going to have to look at a 2v4 retake here in the post plant.
Yeah, Reyna has that ult. Wondering if they're going to use it. They are trying to get some ideal situation going up here, but I mean the utilities aren't really doing anything because NorthMech have just chosen to stay separated in the back of these buildings, these site blockers. So these blinds aren't really doing anything. They're not really revealing anything either, and that was the way to play it for NorthMech. not to just run and gun exactly into the waiting fire. So they're doing it correctly. I could say that there's a lot of chances that the other team, laughing at the 5v3, could have just gotten super overconfident, gotten a little silly, and I think that actually would have resulted in quite a few rounds for Westmec winning, actually, considering, again, how they're able to at least make this look somewhat competitive.
Don't hold back.
But North Mech haven't fallen into that trap, at least not totally and entirely. So, of course, they are pulling out the dubs and still undefeated in these rounds. Looking for another one coming on to A. Deciding perhaps to rotate, as that's where the 3 members are. And you know there's no other members elsewhere, so why not rotate?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I think this is also a very powerful statement. So that way, you know, more people give respect to when plays do happen in 3v5, 2v4, you know, 1v5 scenarios even, or just getting an ace. I think we need to put more respect on, you know, the plays that are made when there is a player deficit, because you can see just from this match alone how significant the player count goes to having an advantage. So when we see big plays being made that are 3v5, 2v4, etc., that, you know, just how impressive those plays actually are.
I kind of shout out the preparation that they had once they realized they were going to be down 2 members. Westmec choosing to always stay pretty much together, right? So if they had split up one in both sides and then one maybe watching mid, and technically they'd be able to see, I suppose, where everyone's coming, and then maybe they get a pick early on. But then I think once you reveal that that's your defensive strategy, you just get overwhelmed, right? Knowing that it's going to be a 5 versus 1, you probably just rush. So I actually like the way that Westmec's been approaching this, again, with whatever time they have had to figure this out. I'm sure they weren't pre-planning on missing 2 members, but it's a numbers game, truly. You'd have to be extremely much better than your opponents, I think, to win in this scenario. And that's just not going to happen here today. We got 2 ults on the side of Westmec, as Seekers might be able to help out, but North Mech kind of with like 6 people now, the Phoenix ult. So many opportunities. Phoenix ult's actually not going to do too much. The team wasn't on the defensive side, but nonetheless, still 5 versus 3 scenario.
I mean, the run it back also gives you that additional intel. You know, they were able to see that, hey, you know what, site's open, site's free, go ahead and plant. So, I mean, it was some benefit, I suppose, and, you know, I'd rather them use it to no benefit than to, you know, always not use it and still get no benefit, you know? So, again, not too much love lost there, but here we are back on site. Only 1 player remains for the side of Westmec, and now the ground spray not going to be able to connect here, as Capybara will be eliminated, and that will be another win going the way of North Mech.
That's stopping them from ever getting another flawless.
Double check it, please.
That is something. And again, 2 ults for Westmec. I am having trouble figuring out what would be an ideal time to really use them. I can kind of see where they're doing, picking the agents, and perhaps this was the agents they're going to pick regardless. But you know, what kind of situation does this set up? Let's see here. I could see actually a combination Capybara with the Seekers when it's like a 3 versus 5 and it's a retake. Then I could see them kind of dissecting that separated defensive post-plant position that North Mech is taking. But okay, or you just, you know, line up at a pocket too. That's also making it a little more hopeful. But yeah, as I was trying to say, the ult only helps so much. It's Apollo getting these nice victories and being able to pick up perhaps a nicer gun that gives me a little bit of hope. 1v2 with Reyna, absolutely possible.
100%. I mean, yeah, if anybody's going to pull off the 1v2, it is going to be Reyna. Again, being able to use the Leers, again, give them a good amount of entryway if they're going to go for the post plant, but they're not checking mid. And you saw there's somebody lurking there. That honestly might be something that comes back to bite them. Is, again, they are going to try and use the Leer, but look at this lurky turkey. Look at Soulbound.
Actually looking the wrong direction. I mean, they're kind of on a chase, aren't they? But eventually a crossfire should be set up. They should be communicating with each other. So, you know, the Sky backs away a little bit and then set up that crossfire, and this should just... It simply should not be winnable, I would say, if the attacking players, or now defensively positioned, I suppose, actually do this right. waiting for the defuse. Obviously, you can play around that too, and that's also a very easy option. So, yeah, unfortunately, if they had caught Soulbound in the mid, that is super doable, even with the Seekers popping, which was quite unfortunate that the attacking side had Seekers as well, to ensure they knew exactly where that was coming from. But if it was a 1v1 and the Seekers were there, that's still so doable for Arena, but not to be the case. Soulbound making that as difficult as possible, and now in the double digits going into the 11th round.
Yep, one thing I got to give NorthMet credit for is that they definitely show no mercy. This is a competitive team, and they're going to take their dub no matter which way they can get it. When you join up in VESL, you got to be prepared for, these teams not to pull their punches. Again, there's a lot on the line here. And not to mention, VESL is a really good platform as well for a lot of these young players to make, impressions onto college scouts. Not that there's really much of an impression to make out of a 5v3, but at the same time, you want the best, cleanest record as possible. So expect just nothing but unrelenting competitiveness when you see these teams go head to head. And then not to mention, it's NorthMec versus WestMec. So, I'm pretty sure they're familiar with one another. I'm pretty sure there's also some rivalry at stake here. So again,
yeah.
I'm not expecting NorthMec to pull any punches against them.
Probably. But I would say that it's actually really a highlight, in fact, if you can play this seriously and just kind of keep it together and you don't just decide to laugh at your opponents. You're like, that sucks. 2 people are missing. I guess we're just going to meet you in the middle and just throw daggers at you. Basically showing maturity, right? It's actually pretty good, I would say. If you are considering, joining different teams and progressing your career a little bit further. As well as obviously just any of the mechanics that are being shown in these solid situations, which have been solid for NorthMec. 5 is still on the board for them. They could be on the verge of another flawless, so it is down to Capybara, and that is a second one. But again, the fact that they haven't been just, 7, 8 flawless, it's actually even gone down to the wire.
Last chance to use
It's all credits to the 3 members of WestMec showing up, even at a severe disadvantage. And now going into what is going to be a match point most likely. They do have 3 ults, so use them now or use them later. They bought up, so maybe they'll just go ahead and use them now.
I'm about to say, I don't think they can use them later because this is the last match. This is the last round of the half.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh my god, the half. I
So
was like, well, this is gonna end. There's no swap. There is still a swap, even if they do, of course, lose this round. So you're absolutely right about that. They got to use them.
Well, now's a better time than any. I would be throwing out the Seekers right now. Just because. Right now. Throw them out. Let them go. Also, another thing that I would like to, ask you. Do you consider the Seekers to be cabbages or jellyfish?
Jellyfish.
Me too.
Yeah.
Ravish and Vincent, 2 colleagues of mine, they both said cabbages. They call them cabbages. But I was like, they remind me of jellyfish.
Yeah, they're like fluorescent or something, Whatever the word is when they just glow by themselves. Like that's jellyfish. Anyway, unfortunately, Reyna taken down pretty quickly there. And I don't know, the Omen ult, I just don't know how you really use it. But again, maybe if this was especially a 2v3, it's a 2v4. Maybe the Seekers, again, to find out exactly where they're positioning themselves, exactly. The Seekers do come out. And then, the Omen ult, I just can't figure out how to do in the situation. Just seeing where they are and being able to line up the headshot potential, that was, I think, that was most hopeful. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. And it is going to be the swap, yes. So now we get to see at least one round of WestMec trio on the attack.
Yeah, and we're going back to the pistol round. So, again, really no clear advantage going the way of WestMec just yet. All in favor of NorthMec. And it's just unfortunate. But again, I gotta applaud, of course, the amount of sportsmanship that actually is coming from WestMec. Because, it's to be said that, the sportsmanship in esports is just as important as traditional sports. And in any traditional sport, you will know, like, if you have players short or for whatever reason there's an issue, you have to play on. You just have to. You have to play on. You have to play your match, and sometimes you have to take your L's. So again, applauding WestMec for their sportsmanship and playing on despite their clear disadvantage.
This could be the last round. They are going all together into the B site, where there are 3 defenders waiting, including a lot of KJL utility, and they have also been found out. They could try a swapperoo. I mean, just to try and find people peeking, right? You know, like this Omen, for instance, looking down mid. If they find them, then they rush over onto the A. That's a 3v1 possibly, although the Omen's not following, so never mind. But just the point is, like, I think B is pretty much a no-go zone. Apollo does take out fatalities. Wasn't exactly the fight that I was expecting, and Tuna takes out Gamer Girl. Now it's a 3v3. Absolutely doable. They actually kind of just went through mid for the most part, and it seemed to have surprised North Mech. And this actually is looking like a win. Hey, I'm all for it. Let's go. Get the dub. Capybara gonna go plant.
Planted.
Well, this is their opportunity here to finally get a dub on the board. Only one player remains. Westmech looking to get their 1-round win on the board. Only that Cypher remains. And look at Tuna. They're actually going to go for the flawless too. And they get it. The Westmech gets on the board. There will be no shutout here today. Westmech get a flawless victory to start off the second half.
Heck yeah. All right. I mean, this is actually pretty freaking cool. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, in the context that we saw that unfold, you know, the fact that they were able to isolate 2 duels and then win those, and then it is a 3v3. Absolutely, totally doable, no problem. But I think the issue going forward, having to catch up 11 more rounds to get into overtime, is that at any point, North Mech could just start gambling. 5 on A, 5 on B, right? Or even surprise them by just going like 5 mid and just like rushing after them. There's so many more options for North Mech. Literally because they have 2 more agents, but also cutting that is. But West Mech not giving up, trying to push through A. Already fairly unsuccessful, having lost Tuna. And now we do have the Phoenix on the lurk, about to catch them. Fatalities with the pistol getting up nice and close, but does not get the shot. Apollo takes out the gun in the nick of time. Look to be kind of expecting that a little bit as well. So at least nicely done there. But we gotta hope that more people just give them those, I guess, 2v1s as they continue to stick together. A little bit. That was a little bit of a 2v2, but nice shooting from Apollo. Now maybe back over to A it goes.
Yeah, and you know, again, that's why I love the Bulldog. I think the Bulldog is one of the more underrated weapons in the game, respectively, you know, just because it does have that burst option. You know what even took me a really long time to realize is that the Stinger also had a burst option as well when you aim down sight. I didn't know that because I hate the Stinger, so I never use it. So it took me a while to realize, hey, you know what, you could burst with this weapon. So again, just the versatility of both the Bulldog and the Stinger, you know, definitely worth notation. You know what, Apollo using that burst to get the headshot there was pretty good. And now we got ourselves a 2v2. Could be another possible win here for Westmech.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do have the superior guns. You know, we are in that classic scenario. We were in the pistol round, and then I kind of expected to win the second one, but when you're 3v5, that was not guaranteed. But now it is looking very possible. We even have Westmech a little bit healthier, and now they are up a player. And they take out Gamer Girl to get that second round win. Let's go. Reverse sweep 3v5. Our producer's calling it.
Yeah, well, now it's actually more possible now than ever before. Okay, so yes, reverse sweep, let's go. Westmech all day. Here it comes, reverse sweep inbound. You feel the change in the air? Do you feel that? Do you feel the change in the weather? You know what that is? That's comeback season.
I feel like we're talking about the colors of the wind here. We're gonna break out in the song. It's gonna be beautiful, and then, well, probably North Mech might still end up winning anyway, so there you go. But I'm all for it while it's here. The winds are a-changing. Now we have a little bit of an entry into mid. Unfortunately, Tuna going down pretty quickly once again. These two managed to make that round happen regardless in the last one. So let's see if they can do it again. 2v5. They are known about, and at this point they're actually being corralled. So I think this is actually going to be it. A flawless to end it. Unfortunately, that wind was not particularly strong. So Westmech, they showed up. They did their best. They got 2 rounds and really made a lot more quite close. But at the end of the day, being down 2 agents is too much to ask for any competitive Valorant game.
You know what I just realized, and you know what, I'm gonna feel bad for even acknowledging this, but we even saw a 5v5 yesterday where a team didn't get any wins on the board. But this team, this team with only 3 players managed to get 2. So still, even with a 3v5, and again, I feel bad for even acknowledging this. Even in a 3v5, Westmec has yet to have it's still not the worst performance we have seen on VESL so far.
Yeah, not to rag a little bit, but to highlight instead Westmac doing as well as they did, and that is going to be it for our first match of the day. Unfortunately, not the banger that we had yesterday. Just a couple people missing, unfortunately. Hope they're all right and all that good stuff. But we do have apparently 3 more matches today, just like yesterday. So plenty more Valorant to come, and hopefully a couple closer games. So straight up 5v5. Let's go ahead and throw it to our couch to talk about how well a 3v5 actually went for the 3 players.
Yeah, I am over here joined with Coach Ben from JT Williams.
Yep.
That, we had right after y'all's match actually yesterday, we had a 13-0.
Yeah. Rough one.
Unfortunate, able to pull off from Westmec, pull off at least 2 rounds. Yeah. Hopefully their games onwards today will be better. They should be having 5 players now. Now they should have 5 players right at the end of their first game. Yeah. Super unfortunate for them. I believe we have Young Men's and Women's Academy.
Yes,
Young
we
Men's
have
Academy,
Reedsville versus Wake Leadership Academy.
which they do have all 5 players.
Let's
I'm
go.
hoping it will be a closer game. Definitely closer than that game was. Just unfortunate 3v5. You can't really do much there.
Yeah, Westmec tried their best, but in the 3v5, can't do much really.
It was nice to see that North Mech still took it seriously and used it as practice. They didn't just run it down and take sight. They actually rotated and kind of you could tell that they were kind of working on things.
Mm-hmm.
Not many. I would have liked to see them take up more space and actually take it just a little bit further step, maybe.
Yeah, North Mech definitely has a couple wrinkles they got to iron out, but overall they played a pretty solid game even for a 3v5.
They didn't just run it down and was like, whatever, we're just not going to use this for anything. They actually used it to try to improve. So I know further down the line we'll have some closer games. Actually, the Wake Young Men's and Women's Academy has a Call of Duty player on it.
Really?
Yeah. Swag Checked is on that team. Interested to see the gameplay that comes out of him, especially going from controller to keyboard and mouse.
Oh, he plays card and controller, and
he.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. Yep. He is a controller player. So I'm interested to see how that transition works for him. I know it took me a while to switch from controller to keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, all the controller players I know took them a couple months to get used to a keyboard and mouse.
So it should be interesting. I know there's at least map rotations and stuff on that sort kind of switches over from COD just because your map awareness is a little. It's kind of the same. Just being
it's
aware
interesting
of the map.
to see how he handles all the abilities because in COD there's no Skydog running at you at Mach 10. So
yeah, no Phoenix flash it. You got flashbangs, but
yeah, a little different.
Just a little bit different. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that team runs. I know they had one game before this. Do we have the results from their past game and Reedsville?
From Wake Leaderships?
Yes.
I will get that.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we are still getting the kids in the lobby for our next match. So let's go back to the game yesterday since we're here. We can take a little recap down memory lane. That JT and AK game yesterday, our first match of the day yesterday, went to overtime. It was 16-14.
Yeah.
What happened?
Defense half went all right. Attack half went all right. 7-5 up. No, I was feeling pretty good. Defense ascent is normally the easier half when it comes to that map. It's normally like a 7-5, 8-4 split when you see it in competitive. But yeah, somehow it ended up going into OT 12-12. It was close. Couldn't close it out.
What did you see from the side of AK that you liked?
Well, AK completely new roster this season. And for a new roster, they looked pretty good. They look pretty well versed, pretty well trained. They had their setups, and overall for a new roster, looked pretty good.
All right, so going further, JT Williams,
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna have that team improve on in the upcoming season? What did you notice that you're like, man, they can definitely work on this?
Well, for the games yesterday, for their defensive half, they were playing very far back. Like, there was no Ascent A main contest, barely any B main contest. And overall playing really passive on that CT side. Another thing I saw was utilizing KO more effectively. Indigo on that KO, he didn't really have any pop flashes or like certain knife lineups, which if you learn those can make KO a lot more effective and a lot more dangerous because a flash can just come out of nowhere and then you're all blind. So yeah, I'd say those are the two main things I saw in JT.
I would say that some of the smokes were a little bit off.
They were fine.
For Wake Leadership, their first game, or the one they previously played, they lost 13-7.
Who was that against?
Reed did not say.
Unfortunate.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about for Reedsville? Have they finished their game?
I will check.
Okay. Well, he'll be back with that, with the scoop on the other games, so that we kind of are prepared for our upcoming games.
I mean, if Reedsville lost 13-7, that means they need to win this one, right?
Yeah, it would be a
Yeah,
must-win.
To get out of the group.
No, they said Wake. Wake lost.
Oh, okay, Wake, sorry.
So, to get out of the group, they have to win
They
this
need to
game.
win this one.
This is a must-win for Wake.
Yeah, so it's going to be
Or the
nervous
COD
one for
player
them.
is going to be out. He'll be
back
gone.
to COD.
Back to COD he goes. So, big game for him. I wonder if this is a must-win for Reedsville as well.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that soon.
Yeah. If that's the case, Reedsville has not played, actually,
Okay.
because it's a group of 3.
Okay.
So they have not played. So must win for Wake. Reedsville has not played their first match of the night yet. So are we set to go for our lobby?
They're still doing map bans.
Okay. What maps are they down to? If you're able to give us the scoop on the maps. I would like to see Sunset.
Yeah,
That was the first thing they banned.
anything besides
Oh.
Ascent would be nice.
All right. Thoughts on Sunset?
It's a pretty easy map if you know how to play it. It's a lot like Split. If you know how to play Split, you're going to know how to play Sunset.
Ascent, Haven, and Bind.
Ascent, Haven, Bind left.
Ban Ascent.
I would be down for some
ban
Bind.
Ascent. I'm down.
Just some
I don't think
TPing, I'm down.
we had one. No, we haven't. I don't think we saw Bind at all yesterday. Not on
Not on
VESL
A-Stream.
GG or GH. I would like to see Bind. See how
down
some
for
of these
Bind.
teams play it. Get some lineup Larrys out there.
Mm-hmm.
See what's gonna go down. So I think we are gonna send it to a quick break before we jump into our second match of the night.
All right.
Welcome, everyone. We are back with our second best of one of the day. The first one, unfortunately, didn't have all 10 players, so it was a bit one-sided, but West Mech did put up quite a fight, so at least kudos on that. Fortunately, do still take the L, and that will affect the potential way the groups play out, of course, for the playoffs coming up on Thursday. But now let's get into Redsville High versus Wake Youngmen's Leadership Academy. Reedsville versus Wake, I guess is what I'm going to go with. We are returning to Ascents. I'm going to have you guess every time from now on, Captain Ahsoka, and see if you can get it right every time.
I mean, there's no shot that at some point we can't get two teams to agree on Haven. I feel like Haven is one of the more favorited maps. So, like, it surprises me that we end up on Ascent every time. But one thing that I am liking so far here, not so much, being on Ascent again, but, I see... Reedsville, they're coming out with the ISO, which is the newest agent in Valorant. And I've only seen them on Split, never seen them on Ascent.
Yeah, that is actually very interesting. I do believe that there is a couple of strategies around there that do revolve around using ISO on Ascent. Doesn't seem to be the exact strategy that I'm thinking of, as the rest of the agents are a bit different, actually entirely different. It's just ISO and KJ. I was thinking of Sliggy came out with a playbook that's like Phoenix and Sova, okay, Omen's also involved. If it's Yoru as well, yeah, that'd be crazy. Okay. Scared of girls. Hold on, this sounds familiar.
Oh my
Woman
goodness.
Scare Me was the other one.
Is this a reoccurring theme with Valorant players? My goodness. But regardless,
Perhaps.
I mean... The 3 duelist setup, I was about to say, highly doubt they're going to go triple duelists. So again, you do see that KJ, that is more in line. That's more of what I expect. Now, if you're looking at Awake leadership, again, they're spreading around pretty nicely as well. They are going to go with the double duelist composition as well. They're going to be going with Reyna and Neon, which is interesting for Ascent. Neither of those agents I really would consider, top pick for this map, but again, we do see the Sage, so I do expect to see at least one window peek on the ice wall. And then Sova again is probably the most in line with what I mean. They are the most viable, I think, on Ascent out of any other agent. Sova and Omen are the ones that go hand in hand with Ascent.
Pretty stable agents for a while at this point, actually. We got some different stuff in general, so kind of exciting getting into Ascent. We might be seeing the same map over and over, but we're not seeing the exact same compositions over and over. We've got some creativity coming in, or perhaps just personal preference really influencing a little bit more. That'll happen, but either way, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see ISO in play, especially after the initial criticism of him, and what role does he really play? Obviously duelist, but still it's a very different type of duelist and the utility that he has. I want to see if we get any gulag matches. We have to have at least one, I'm hoping, that's actually effective, and then that'll be much easier to see it than explain it, I suppose. The Death was having a little bit of trouble with that yesterday as well. I do have Wake leadership starting on attack, by the way, guys, and Reedsville on defense.
I'll find you.
Yep, so this is going to be interesting to see on how, ISO starting out on the defensive side, because they do have a little bit of entry on the offense. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play on defense. But so far, it is going to be an elimination going the way of Reedsville, and a trade to follow up here on the A side. And now here comes the push from Wake leadership.
Yeah, Reedsville's fallen a little bit here.
Spike planted.
LMAO. The ISO. Lamau is all I'm going to say from now on. Actually helping out tremendously up in heaven. So door breaks down. Perhaps going to set up a little crossfire. That goes into the door.
One enemy
The
remaining.
back net really working out
Last
super
player
good. Wake
standing.
leadership down to 1 as well, though. And actually, in that last second, 1v1, it will be Wake leadership who come out ahead. But by the skin of the teeth. 21 health on that Neon. Alone standing agents. That's a close one.
Need a drop.
Yeah, not a bad way to start things off. Again, Wake leadership able to come away with the win there. They are going to be able to buy up. And one thing that is interesting to me is seeing Chick Oni or Chick Ono I'm just gonna call them Chick or Chick on, is that the fact that they're gonna go with a Marshall. You know, I don't really expect a lot of sniper play coming out from the Neon, but who knows? This could work out for them. Also, we did get to see a little bit of the utility from ISO, and my favorite ability from ISO. You know, not even the Gulag, or, you know, it's called the Kill Contract, which is their ultimate, but the double tap. I think that double tap is probably the gnarliest, the coolest ability that ISO has.
Such a unique ability too, and it can be a little hard to keep track of, but if you get it, it's very
Spike
effective.
down
I mean, it's
mid.
actually kind of hard to get. We'll explain that in a little bit, as we do have Lamau getting that first pick, setting Reedsville up well to perhaps change the tempo of a usual Valorant game on the defense. Once again on A sites. This time Wake leadership is entirely coming in through A main. Finally to get some damage done in return. However, thanks to Flying Tiger.
Stay down.
And the dog just revealed that there's no one in hell. Trapanese with the sheriff from the top.
Spike planted.
Pivoting. Silverbot coming out. Getting a good scouts, but it's all about the gunfights from Swag Checked, who grabs 2. And there's only 2 left for Reedsville on the defense. Spike counting down as well. Consolo going to be looking the wrong way by the looks of things. They should be chased down. That's exactly what happens. A Swag Check gets the 3K, and all will be right in Valorant's Wake leadership do get that second round as well.
I know, you know, we're probably supposed to smooth on by like we didn't see that, but Chick on the Neon stunned themselves in that last round. I mean, they got the dub, so, you know, no harm, no foul, but I'm sorry. They tried to go and use their utility, and they literally hit the wall in front of them and then stunned themselves. It hurt itself in its own confusion. I'm sorry. It was just too funny not to point out there. But now we're heading into round number 3, the bonus round for Wake leadership, and what could be the first round win for Reedsville, as they do have the buying power going into round 3.
Well, it's going to be a B hit, so we have the
Here.
KJ kind of coming out, trying to get into that corner. Are they going to check it? They absolutely do. And while there is maybe a chance that Scared Girl is going to win that fight, it did not happen. It is a trade overall, however. 4v4 situation of the duel in mid, which is won by Chickani, as I think I'm going to go with. Now on that ISO. Some important picks in the earlier rounds. You can find one here too, but it's Consolo currently holding down the fort on B. Tony does find one more, and Reedsville is just looking like they're running out of people. That is the unfortunate problem right now. 2 left alive versus the 4. Wake leadership are just going to bulldoze right on through onto the site and clear out the remaining Reedsville players. No problem for a 3-0 start. That's a little bit of a sting. You are hoping for that to be the round that you get back in, and you feel like all is fair in the game of Valorant. Instead, down 0-3. You gotta wonder if the strategies are working out, and we'll gotta get the resets on the guns and economy as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they call it the bonus round, and that is a huge round win for Wake leadership, because now they're going to be able to get the buying power, forcing Reedsville on another eco round, which should lead to another Wake leadership dub, giving them a 4-0. That's why it's the bonus. You know, you get an extra win on top. But with that being said, we have seen eco rounds go the way of, you know, the thrifties. So again, it's possible, but, you know, much like West Mech versus North Mech, I don't like their odds.
Yeah, I don't like him either, especially as Noob Slayer does get swag checked, and another one goes down, a swag checked as well. It's going to be the star of Wake leadership. Also has their ultimate should they need it. I don't think they do. Although Lamau actually catching a bit too speedy of a Neon right there. Get the double tap in play, but unfortunately not going to help out. They are gunned down, only leaving 2 for Reedsville to defend the sites. So much to do and so little time as the spike is counting down. And Solo just went down as well, leaving only Scared of Girls, who was playing a girl agent. They can't be that scared. And they are taken down by Sky.
What if they I mean, again, they could be just scared of themselves. You know, you look in the mirror and you're like,
I mean,
you could be.
Isn't that truly the human condition? Isn't that actually truly the problem? Are we not all a little scared of ourselves?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I guess it depends on the day of the week, actually. But regardless, we are going now into round number 5. Wake leadership looking pretty strong, and Reedsville still looking to get their first round win on the board. But with that being said, I'm a little disappointed. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because I have yet to see an ice wall there on B main. I haven't seen the Sage window peak, and if you don't ice wall Sage window peak on B main on Ascent, then why bring the Sage in the first place? It's like the best thing you could do.
Why even play it? It's useless. No, I think we might eventually see that. Still plenty of rounds for this half, but so far, not the case. Not the case. We have. I really want to see Lamau with the ISO actually use the gulag. That's what I've been waiting for. Unfortunately, not going to be the chance this time around. Swag Checked is just taking down all of these, like, well, what if, or maybe we could finally see it, or this could be fun, and then Swag Check comes in and is like, nope.
Spike planted.
3K so far for them. Still holding on to the ultimate as well, and now weak leadership dangerously close to having all 5 ultimates. Swag Check still taking all the feed there, though, not leaving any for the rest of their teammates. Finally gets taken down at the very least, but Scared of Girls down to 30 health against 4 remaining from Wake leadership. Not much to be done.
You will not kill my
You know, you kind of got to feel bad for this character, you know, because there's 4 girls, you know, on the side of Wake leadership. So this has got to be terrifying, you know, for Scared of Girls. I mean, you're looking at 4 female characters. Well, now 3 because they were able to take out the Sage. But I mean, right now they're literally being haunted by 1. So this has just got to be a waking, living nightmare.
Yeah, they
KJ.
are being hunted by the very thing that they fear. Girls, and that is he's officially the 5K. I love it. The ace comes in, and that will be because of the Sage res. So shout out to the Sage res.
And you know what's another interesting thing about this composition is the fact that they're bringing the Sage and the Sky. So they're going double heals. They're doubling down on the heals, which honestly was a composition that was favored for a little while here in, you know, the Valorant meta. So it does have viability. And you know what? I'm not mad at the composition. I mean, going double down on the heals could definitely come in clutch and can definitely make big plays. So let's see if they're going to be able to take full advantage. I mean, so far so good. They are currently 5-0 here on Ascent.
Oh yeah, their performance is saying that there's really no problem so far, but they even have kind of a third heal, if you will, which is Reyna being able to heal herself, so like health should not be an issue. It's whether or not you live, you know, to get healed up, I suppose. Swag Check continuing to do work, does get taken down. Tiger was there with them though to help out. Trap and Needs with the knives, suddenly making things favorable for Reedsville finally. And they can take down that gate there, the door, and still have the potential of finding more kills and perhaps the first round for Reedsville, but they got to make the decision now. They're going to go in right on top. Presumably the person guarding the spike. They do not actually get the shots finally with the last one. We do get Reedsville with the round. They should have enough time to defuse.
Thanks.
And that's good for them, but a lot off the back of Japanese. Nice.
Oh, 100%. That is the first round win from Reedsville. They have a pulse. They have a sign of life. And it's more or less thanks to Trapanese coming in with the knives too, because not only were they able to get that first Jiggle Peek head click with the knife, but then they were able to follow it up with another elimination and then one more afterward. Even though they missed the knife burst, they had to finish it off with the Sheriff, but still was more than enough to find the first round win. But you have to keep in mind, Wake leadership taking 5 unanswered wins in a row have got a fat stack of cash on their side, and now you can see both the Odin and the Operator are coming out to play in round 7.
Operator on Reyna. You're looking down mid. No one is there to quickly get a headshot, although that might change. Oh no, oh no, oh no, that might change. Oh.
Scout destroyed.
Shh. We got people coming through mid, trying to get a bit of a sneakier path onto the defense of the A, and that's when they cross into the line of fire of the Op, and of course one does go down. Wake leadership getting that first pick, also with 3 ultimates on the board. We still have 2 for the side of Reedsville, including the Gulag, which, you know, can be used kind of a crowd control factor as well. But obviously you want to go ahead and win your own duel. I feel like it is a difficult agent to get used to, I suppose. I believe it even says that it's like a hard agent for like the Valorant, like, you know, should you play this or not. So I think actually finding the usage for his utility and for the ult can be a bit trickier than some of the other ones. Unfortunately, this might not be the time to do it anyway, as you are down to 2 people. It's unlikely to be a win for you, even if your ultimates are all popped.
Yeah, and that's the thing about having the new agents and why it's so risky,
30
to
seconds
bring them
left.
into a competitive setting, because nobody's really been
Last
able to
player
find
standing.
their viability. We haven't been able to find where they stand out in a competitive setting, but it looks like it's going to be Boatyard on B, as there were 2 back-to-back eliminations, and again, we got to see the double tap and how it works, and you can see why it is such a great ability. Being able to have that additional armor whenever you find an elimination can really change some things up and make big plays, but unfortunately, the numbers game were not on their side, and they still are holding on to that kill contract. They have their ult in their back pocket, and you can kind of think that maybe it would have been useful in that last matchup.
That actually might have been the case. I wasn't expecting it, but it did get down to the wire, and that might have been useful to, again, kind of, literally take yourself out of the Valorant map, and you go into a 1v1. So that could have maybe isolated the duel, and they get back into the thick of things. Maybe woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trapanese, love the play here from the Jet with the Judge, just running forward and getting the kills. Most importantly, able to pick up a better gun as well. Now that the Judge has done its thing, and Wake leadership down to 2, a 2v4. Everyone with ultimates, by the way, but Swag Check just mostly on this op. Takes out Lamau, so no ult being used from this time around. Still got the KJ ult. We got Jet Knives that looks going to be used, and the Omen also could have done something to do a little bit of topsy-turvy, but the B site is open anyway, so.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this is actually looking good for Wake leadership, because both the Jet and the KJ are literally one shot. I mean, just a strong gust of wind and they're donezo. But, with that being said, currently I got to give Swag Checked, credit where credit is due, because they don't have a quick dash. There's no way they can avoid the danger. So they have to land their shots just like that, or they're going to be into some trouble. And now take a look at him on the flank, and it will be Swag Checked again, getting the ace. Swag Checked, just checked an ace. The first of the day, giving Wake leadership their 7th round win.
Yeah, they finally got that actually sparkly banner, I suppose. It's the 5K in the last, whatever round it was. It didn't necessarily count, I suppose. But that was clean. That was some good Valorant play. Nice shooting, nice prediction of where the opponents were coming in from, and to do it on Arena as well, as you were talking about, not the go-to op user. They don't have an escape, so once they make that shot, there's a significant amount of time when it comes to gunfights anyways. You could actually catch them trying to move away, trying to reload, and just being able to avoid that. Perhaps a little bit of luck, but just a lot of that game sense coming in, like I was saying, to predict the movement of the opponents. Really nicely done. We still have so many ultimates on the board, by the way. Looks like the Jet actually did use their knives. So they are without it. Same with the Sage on the other side, not having the res, but otherwise this could actually be just Graphics City, or a little shot from Scared of Girls takes down Rose the Sage. And this might be a deterrent from actually going onto the site. Everyone is defensively stacked up on there, so yes, looks like Wake leadership is going to go for that rotate.
Yeah, and also, I got to point out, again, that Reyna from Wake leadership managed to drop a 20 bomb in just 8 rounds. I mean, we see a lot of Valorant go down, and, some players, it is an achievement in and of itself to drop a 20 bomb in 24 rounds. Nonetheless, dropping it in 8. Absolutely insane performance by Swag Check, who had just been eliminated by the Bladestorm from the Jet.
Yes, the Bladestorm is active right now, so they still have it after that kill, and they're trying to use it to greater effect, missing the shot so far as Chiconic kind of gets up into the corner here to survive, and actually surprises Trapanese. They did not see that movement, and they were trying to get everyone else, of course, as well. Now, Lamau is the last man standing. This would absolutely be the time to do exactly this. We're finally seeing the Gulag. They should have a little bit of favoritism, and they will be able to use their favoritism to their advantage. Win that duel. They got the 2 shields and the option going left or right, where the opponent only has the 1. Unfortunately, when it comes to the non-Gulag 1v1, it is going to be Wake leadership that takes the dub 8-1 now.
Yeah, on that one, you really got to make sure that you reload before you come out of your cover. Like, they were in the cubby, in the corner, protected, and they decided to swing out and then reload. You should reload, then swing out. Not that I know anything for anything, but we do have our first time out of the day coming from Reedsville, so you already know it's now time once again for the Zombie and Ahsoka show. Welcome back, one and all. And again, we have gotten to see some great gameplay so far. And again, now that you have finally gotten to see the Gulag, you got to see the 1v1, what are your thoughts? I need to hear some zombie grub info.
Well, of course, I've seen it in like professional play to an extent, but I've seen it used and demonstrated. But to actually see it in action, oh, you know what? Actually, my first sight on it was playing against it. I remember now. And when I played against it, I was actually so confused as to how this was like a good ult for ISO, just because I was able to win the duel. And then it ended up not contributing in any way, shape, or form to the rest of the match. But that's because I'm in a bad league, so we're all bad. But otherwise, I would say that the Gulag is cool and all. It's interesting. It's something I guess the community kind of like asked for or meme for, and then it was actually delivered. It's the double tap that is really impressing me, because I thought that would be an extremely difficult skill to actually use repeatedly because it's on a timer. So if you don't get the shots, if you don't hit your orb, you gotta redirect your gun as well and stuff, that it'd actually be difficult to use. But Lamau is using it really, really well.
Well, again, if we know anything from players that use aim labs, they have literally trained for this ability. Anybody that's been in aim labs can tell you they're used to just rapidly aiming up for no particular reason at all, trying to hit random orbs. So again, aim labs training definitely paying off for ISO. But so far here in round number 10, things not going so great for Reedsville.
No, unfortunately, the wine hideout's not working as effectively today as it did yesterday, and Swag Check continuing to grab most of the kills for Wake leadership. A 4K right there. Rez did go through, but then Sage herself actually went down. It was flawless, but yeah, they have so much money. They could do, well, they could almost do the 5-op, but they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't. If anything, they should let me hold a couple credits. I mean, just to help out the captain. The captain got to gas the ship up. We got places to go, people to see. You just let me hold a couple credits, because my Valorant economy not great. Never. It's usually not good at all. As a matter of fact, it's much like my hairline, which has completely receded.
Oh gosh, the joys of growing old. Am I right? These high schoolers should never do it. Quickly, we get a recipe in chat, which I love. Looks like a delicious recipe. This time they are going to check wine, because even though they didn't end up really pushing it in favor of Reedsville, it is still good to check that. And Swag Check grabs the first pick as well. Sova ults, clear out a bit of tree, or help Swag Check clear it out, and that's just a slow pulling away of the kills here, like an orange. They're unpeeling the orange. One agent peeled away, one more peeled away, and one more peeled away. Mostly with Swag Check doing the peeling, but still, and that was just
Last round in the half.
I don't know, like textbook almost. Like that was so smooth. And Wake leadership now have the double digits, 10-1.
And what's another thing that I love about this qualifiers is that we get to see who the standout players are going to be when we make it into the postseason, when we make it into the lands. We're going to be looking at some of these MVP players to really step up and see how they stack up against others. Like right now, I'm thinking how would Swag Check stack up against Where's My Dad? Remember Where's My Dad?
Ooh.
The Cypher main who came out dropping 20 bombs on Ascent as a sentinel, as a defensive sentinel at that. So again, seeing them going up against someone like Swag Check, I think would make it a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's true. Perhaps we'll get that later down the line. Not sure if they already played each other. Maybe we'll see it in the bracket. Time will tell, but we have the Defender Killjoy ults. Just making sure that Wake leadership couldn't get onto the site, which they were clearly trying to get onto. Now they're going to redirect and just go through mid, but that is where Consolo was waiting for exactly that. Doesn't matter if Leon is pissed or not. And that is going to be favorable for Reedsville, 4-2. ISO Util being thrown out, that blocks the weaponry and also forces them into a particular direction. So that was actually a pretty good use of the Util too. I mean, I was saying how it can be difficult to actually figure out how to use this agent because they are so different. They're really not self-reliant in a way that I guess you would expect a duelist, maybe Reyna, obviously. But if you can use them, they are pretty cool. As far as the space, as far as the crowd control aspect, they're obviously very unique as well with the Gulag. It's not winning them the rounds, unfortunately, but I am quite impressed with ISO being so new, being really well displayed here in this best of one.
Honestly, I think the reason that they have a shortcoming is because they are so new. They have yet to be figured out. It's like the map of Ascent. We keep seeing Ascent because it has been figured out. We know Ascent backwards and forwards, inside and out. The thing with ISO is that they're still too new to be viable. People haven't figured out, you know, the right sightlines. They haven't figured out the right entry. They haven't figured out how to effectively use their utility. So as time goes on, for all we know, ISO could become one of those meta duelists. And again, it's just a matter of time. But right now, they are still new. So we're seeing glimpses like we saw last round where, you know, ISO could pull out some really cool plays. But again, still too early. That type of playstyle, that type of mechanics, it has to be refined. And that's just going to take time.
And I feel like your fellow competitors, the rest of your team, also has to kind of learn how to play around and with that agent as well, which can be difficult. But enough about that. We do have what looks to be a one still win once again, as they are in a 3v1 situation with the spike planted. The opposing Sova trying to get some information is denied that information, and up against 3, there's just so many angles to check. It's actually mostly, though, going back to Boathouse, so there's a chance to maybe get some more picks. They do not get it, but I was going to say there was not a chance to get the defuse. The spike was already too far gone anyway, so Reedsville will get that 3 on the board.
Yeah, that they will. And you know what? That's, if you're down 10-2, you know, you got to start off with a win. You have to. I mean, there's literally no other option. So again, a must-round win for Reedsville, and they come through taking the pistol, getting the buy up, going into the next round. But look at this. It looks like Wake Leadership, even though they went down that round, they might be buying up. I could have swore I saw an Ares being purchased on the side of Wake Leadership. I don't know. Maybe Dolph eyes deceived me, but it did look like they tried to buy, which is a risky play coming from Wake Leadership.
Oh, Swift is going to be found out pretty quickly there. No issue. Scared of girls, takes them out, and Wake Leadership is not good. You know, doing so hot in the defensive half. It has just begun, though. Getting to the tempo of things. And it looks like the B site is already pretty contaminated. Full of red and Trapanese, and Lamau grabbing a couple more as well. Only 2 left over to defend against the full team of Reedsville. And a very injured team, but now it's a 1v5. So just the mere amount of people being able to throw at you is going to do the trick, and that's exactly what happened there. Wake Leadership losing it another round here in this half. And now it might be their time to shine. To get maybe the momentum a little bit back. They maybe get some guns. They really aren't getting the best of guns, though.
Yeah, because they bought. I knew I wasn't insane. Captain wasn't capping. They did try to buy. It was a broken buy, but they still made purchases. So now going into the next round, going into the bonus round of the second half, they can't buy up.
Yeah. I wonder about that decision. I do wonder. It's not like they were really forced. You know, they are not in a difficult position. Not yet. But now, then this 5th one goes in, and it starts to creep up, starts to get a little bit more harrowing. Not that they can't win this round. It's a little more difficult than you would like, and this actually is a bit cheeky. Are they going to be checked? Absolutely checked. No, they were not checked. Look in the wrong direction. Take down 1, but it is still a trade. It's not the most effective positioning, and Trapanese is actually really starting to pop off. On this attacking side, I feel like they're calling them out much more lately. Wake Leadership is once again back down to a 1v3 this time, and Trapanese just so aggressive on that jet, being rewarded as they do grab the 3K, and there's that 5th point for Reedsville.
And you know what's funny? We went into the half at a 10-2, and more often than not, you know, people like to refer to the 9-3 split as the 9-3 curse. You know, it's been around since nearly the inception of Valorant itself. But with that being said, you know, I've actually had some matches where a colleague of mine, Time to Light, who's actually currently casting on the B stream, has even brought awareness to the 10-2 curse. So again, you know, if Wake Leadership isn't careful, the curse could come to fruition here today. So again, Wake Leadership, they gotta really start getting their heads on right. As you can see, Flying Tiger getting that Sova Odin wall spray to find Lamau through the wall.
Yeah, as soon as they got a dink, they're like, okay, bring up the gun. Now, fortunately for Reedsville, that wasn't the slaughter that it can be. A quick jump from the jet, and the rest of the team is just a little bit dispersed. You know, they weren't stacked up, but this is apparently still going to be the power play. Flying Tiger getting 3 before finally going down, leading into a 1v1, which actually Reedsville is going to win. And that will be another point for them. And the spike was planted as well. Some extra credits, and Wake leadership starting to lose control. That was the round which I would be really worried about. It started off what looked to be swimmingly as your plan on that Sova B wall, of course. You know, that is the plan. It seemed to have worked. And then you still end up losing that round. A bit harsh. And now ever closer to losing their lead. Still 4 rounds to go for Reedsville.
Hey, I told you about that 10-2 curse. Didn't I tell you about the 10-2 curse? I mean, we're going to take another look, and it looks though that, you know, Flying Tiger once again is going to be going for the Sova Odin wall spray. And, you know, this is what I'm here for. I managed to not get my, you know, Sage Wall peek through window, but I'll settle for the Sova Odin wall spray.
You're going to have to, unfortunately. It, again, was not the most effective, actually. They got a dink, but they were pretty far back. But still, all that pressure that it applies, I mean, it is almost a complete deterrent from actually hitting the B site. Almost. Could have played around it. In this case, they do just go ahead and avoid it entirely, move over onto A, which was defenseless. So Reedsville will be able to get up to a post-plant position for the 3 situation for them as well. And a couple of ults to use. Looking primarily at the ISO ults on the side of Reedsville. Wake leadership on the defense do have the Sova ults, of course, as well. A couple of traits going down. Flying Tiger.
Last player standing.
To do so much in the last round. Not able to match that this time. And now it is just down to Sir Tenzin at 12 health and marked as well. Not many plans around that there. And that's going to be 7 for Reedsville. They're inching ever closer. It's like the worm that chases you. The snail that chases you around the world, right? It's actually terrifying. The more that you think about it, it could be around the corner at any second.
Yeah, and you know what? They did buy up again, and it looks like they're going to again. I don't know how they can afford these many Odins. Like, Sova has had an Odin the last 3 rounds, and I really don't see how Wake leadership in the second half has managed to accrue the credits needed to constantly buy them. Their credit and money management, I gotta tell you, I'm a little envious.
Or is it sus? I mean, is there some like laundering going on there? Fortunately not.
Infinite money hack.
Yeah, they typed in whatever it is, whatever you choose your game.
You and me.
Okay, so they're gonna take out the Odin by using the Gulag on them, which I actually would have expected to go a little bit better for ISO. Unfortunately not. The Odin solves all problems, I suppose. And that is, of course, I guess, the downside of ISO's ultimate, which is that, yeah, they can lose it, basically. And that is going to be Sova ulta, a bit ineffective.
Spike
it's only
down,
1
B.
though left over for Reedsville, so I mean everything combined together ended up doing the trick. And actually, it is finally going to be another point on the board for Wake leadership. I say ineffective, personally, mean as far as getting a bunch of kills. Still, leave it up the space, allowed the rest of the team to come on in, and that was a pretty smooth round considering how much momentum was being gained by Reedsville previously.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, we got to see another Gulag. We got to see the kill contract coming from Lamau and the ISO, which is always fun to see. But, you know, not too much love loss. I mean, they ended up getting, you know, pretty much just swept away there in the previous round. So they weren't the only ones to you know, find the damage end of a crossfire. But with that being said, we're heading into the next round. They're starting off pretty well, getting that first elimination, and they have 4 other ultimates in their pocket.
There's a lot to work with. KJ ult wants to come into effect. They're already winning as far as the players, though. They're also going to use it. This, you know, if they did have map packs on, might have been held on to, or honestly, maybe don't use it, actually, with it already going so well. But yeah, just going to further delay what ended up being a rotation from the rest of the team anyway. They were kind of having to move on over regardless, but they were delayed a little bit more of the sweat beads piling on as the spike continues to tick down, and decisions have to be made for Wake leadership. They're trying to do something here. Basically right here, right now, trying to get a scout before everything goes down, trying to take down hell with the wall bang. Not gonna happen by the looks of things. The stage wall for the res. I actually wonder if you have enough time for that, but time is not actually the issue. That little sliver, the angle given from that wall actually ends with all of Wake leadership going down. Reedsville will take another point, and they did have to cost, I guess, through their own lives, to be fair, but they do continue. A little blip in their momentum is not going to dissuade them from still continuing to try and match up the scores, 8-11.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Chickoni, they managed to save the Odin. Through all else, and they were the ones that got res too. They were res by the Sage ultimate, and then still managed to run back. And their top priority was to save the Odin. Got to give the Odin back to Flying Tiger. That's where it belongs, on the Sova Odin combo here on B main. Once again, trying to set up for that wall spray, but they can't get any info off of that recon dart.
Yeah, Refill did stay a step behind the darts, and with that step behind, they're able to time it out, but they also get past the Odin wall bang by the time the Albot came out. So that was a nice taking care of the first problem on this side, but can they take care of the rest of Wake leadership is the question. They will get the plant 3v3 situation, plenty of ult on the side of Reedfield to use if they would like to, and they might have to. Swag check coming in, they actually getting so many kills. Once again with the 4K to help out the team, and it will unfortunately be that 12th now match point for Reedsville as they are unable to defend the spike.
Out of charges.
Yeah, and now with that defuse, it looks like Chick on this Neon, Chick on the Neon, is going to be able to come through with their ultimate. And once again, they saved the Odin for Sova, putting it right in the hands of where it needs to go, right where it belongs, to its rightful owner. But regardless, again, Chick on being able to get their ult here. I think Neon has one of the most frag-heavy ultimates in the game. Like their ult is again just so good at getting quick eliminations.
Yeah, they were kind of nipped in the bud in some of their earlier attempts to use their ult. They shouted out and then they got killed immediately. Let's see if it's more effective this time around. So Tenzin being awfully aggressive, trying to get the jump on. I think I see exactly what the strategy was there, but we'll hold off on that for a second. We still got a lot of gunplay in action that's going a little bit awkwardly. Trapanese thought they found Flying Tiger, but Flying Tiger found them. Does finally get taken down 2-on-2. The Neon ult, yes, absolutely coming into effect. Here we go. Just run and gun, and that'll be it. Wake leadership with 13-8 victory. Started to lose their hold on the game a little bit there towards second half, but able to gain the reins back under control and will get this win in the best of one. I was just going to say the strategy that I think was going right there was that they were going to try to be, like, oh, it's going to be the Sova, again, machine gun is so cool. And they played a position forward. It didn't work out, but the rest of the round worked out to give them the W.
Absolutely. And then, like I was saying, that Neon ult definitely came into play, and it was nearly perfect. I mean, they were able to come through, find those final eliminations. And what it also makes me wonder is that, I never got to use the Neon ult myself, so I'm wondering if you can actually use it through boxes. Does it wallbang? Doubtful. I don't think it does. But regardless, still a phenomenal ult that was able to solidify the win and, confirm that final round win. The 13 to put themselves over the mark and take the dub. But with that being said, you got to give it up to their opponents. They came through and they definitely made great plays. I mean, they started out going into the half at 10-2. My goodness. And then Reedsville out of nowhere just started making a comeback, against Wake leadership. But, before it got too far gone, before the 10-2 curse was realized, Wake leadership were able to put an end to the comeback. So again, just a fantastic way to really get the ball going on a set, and honestly a good display of what talent we can expect to see as we continue forward.
Yeah, and apparently we're going to see more of that talent because we had a bit of a schedule change. So Reedsville is going to be playing again on the A stream, this time against Green Level High C. So that will be our next best of one coming up. But first, we will go ahead and send it to the couch to break down our previous match.
What a match we just got to witness. Going from our first match to that, Reedsville started to bring it back towards the end, but just couldn't finish it out.
A lot better than the first match. It went a lot closer. Reedsville almost had that comeback, but couldn't quite close it out.
Yeah, they started coming back, but, Wake just brought the power.
Yeah, Swag brought the power.
Man, Swag, COD player?
COD player. 37-12 with 480 ACS.
That's insane. And I honestly was not expecting that out of Swag. I saw a little bit of his first game earlier on in the night, but the second game he showed up and showed out.
Absolutely insane.
That puts them at 1-1. That was the game that they needed to win. believe this is. Yeah, Reedsville. This game is a must-win for them because if not, they're knocked
that's
out.
0-1.
Yeah,
They're playing next against Green Level.
Green level,
C.
high C.
Green
They're
Hope High
C-
C.
High
They're-
C, not level.
Yeah,
Got
their
it.
C team. So I did see some of their gameplay earlier on, and they looked pretty good. So they did take out Wake. So we have to see if Reedsville is
see
going to
what
be able
happens.
to bounce back in this next match and win this one out so that then it goes to a complete tie
Yep,
throughout
and then it goes to round differential.
round differential. So it'll play a big part in it. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe we get a 3-way tie, and then
See
things
what
get
happens.
tight.
Spicy. Yeah.
Then every round does matter, especially when you're playing in a 3-team group play.
Yeah.
Because if they does go to a 3-way tie, then every round matters. So, what's your prediction for this game?
I haven't seen Green Hope High C play yet, but considering the C team, I don't think they're going to be that high rank, so I'm going to give it to Reedsville.
I'm interested to see what these ranks of these players are, just because they were able to take out Wake,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm actually kind of scared to see if their A team, if their C team's able to take out Wake, who has swag and I don't remember who else. Imagine what their A team looks like. If that's their C
Looks
team,
Not bad.
their A team has to be insane. So, interested to see where their A team ends up. I believe they play tomorrow is when the A team plays.
I can maybe pull it up.
But I think I'm going to take a guess and say the C team does pull it out, though. We get to see a lot more action tonight. So, and we have so many other matches going on tomorrow. I believe we have about 16 matches going on tomorrow, both on VESL GG and VESL GH. So we're going to have a lot more action to come. We're going to send it to a quick break when we get our lobby set up, and we'll be right back with y'all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to VESL. We got ourselves a Valorant regional qualifier underway. We're getting into our third best of one now, which is going to be Reedsville yet again versus Green Level High C. So one familiar team, another one is going to be new to the A stream at the very least. And it's time to play the game, Captain Atsoka. What map do you think we'll be playing on?
Ascent is what I think is going to be played, but it's not what I hope is going to be played. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing a Haven. I'm quite partial to the three-sided maps. So again, and not only that, but Haven is one of, the most agreed upon maps. But once again, here we are on Haven. And you know what? I really think that Reedsville has an advantage here. I have yet to see Green Hope High C play, and I really just want to call the Green Hope High C, I want to call them Green Hope Fruit Punch. That's just what I want to call them. I want to call them green Fruit Punch. But regardless, I really do think Reedsville has an advantage coming into this one because they are just coming off of a match, so they should be warmed up. They should be ready to go. And you know what? They really started to cook there towards the end of the last match. They really kicked it up a notch, especially Lamau. LMAO on the ISO started to land their shots, started to get eliminations, and they really started to feel themselves. So I think they're going to be coming in to this next match with a little bit of boost in momentum and morale. But with that being said, I do like the composition that we're seeing from Green Hope High C.
Yeah, some typical stuff potentially. We'll see the lock-ins. Yeah, Lamau and Trapanese, I felt like really started to get into a groove, and that was on the attacking side as well. So now that they are starting off on attack, I think it does bode well for them. Green Hope High C did play, I believe, in the
Select your
first
agent.
round, I suppose what we call it. Round of the day, but I don't know what maps they played on. I actually unfortunately don't know the score either, but yeah, Reedsville definitely looked like they were ramping up and are now getting maybe a chance to kind of continue ramping up, coming in on attack on Ascent, and now against Green Hope High C. None of the newest characters, newest agents on the field. Some typical choices for Ascent.
Yeah, and honestly, if I had to pick just based off of composition, I would definitely go with Green Hope High C with their composition. Again, I think the KJKO combo is the meta composition for Ascent. Not only that, but they're bringing an Omen to the party, as well as Jet. I love the Jet on Ascent, especially if you can get an op into their hands. I think that's going to bode well for them. And you know what? I'm not mad at the Sky pick either. I would prefer a Sova in that position, but having the additional heals, I think is going to, definitely come in clutch for Green Hope High C. But with that being said, Reedsville, they did warm up fairly well in their previous matchup. They did start to get things together there in the end. And, I think they're going to continue that momentum as we get ready to go into round one.
They definitely changed up their agent selection, though. We don't have the ISO and we don't have the Jet for them. So I thought the ISO was being played, maybe not the best because I wasn't just lone paying attention to the ISO. But when I did, it felt like the utility was being used pretty well, but perhaps they even felt like it wasn't really adding up enough. So changing over to the Phoenix. I actually didn't check what the Jet moved over to. The Reyna? Another duelist, I suppose. So I have to get a recheck on that when we see the overall layout. But anyway, getting into the first rounds, we have the attack headed towards the B sites. Scared of Girl starting things off with the first takedown of the match. Trapanese said they were really starting to get amped up on the attack. And yes, this was the Jet player, so they're moving over onto the Reyna, taking down a Jet, in fact, and almost taking down the Sky there. There it is. And it looks like Reedsville are just kind of continuing along with the ramp that they built for themselves in the last best of one. And that's good news for them.
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected. Again, in esports in particularly, when you have those double headers, it definitely does more for your next matchup than, let's say, traditional sports. Because when you have double headers in traditional sports, it really does wane on your endurance and your stamina. But in esports, it definitely helps in terms of muscle memory. So I think the Reedsville team right now is just continuing the momentum that they started to build at the later half of the previous matchup, and now are just following it through here once again on Ascent, which definitely helps that it's on the same map as last game too.
Yeah, and I think it also is the best of one factor too. I would say a Valorant series that's close, that's a best of three. Doing a double header then can actually be kind of crazy. There have been the Team Look at Open that I did recently. There was actually it was supposed to be a 6-hour broadcast, and it ended up being 10. And it was just like the players were just, I was like, I felt so bad for them. But anyway, regardless of that, I was just further adding to your point that they absolutely are running away with the momentum they already built up. A little bit of a change on the agents never hurt anyone, especially if they're still comfortable on it. But this is interesting. Choo! The KO was trying to get a little bit of a surprise, but it didn't really work out. Neither did Imogen. Either way, neither did they. Kind of hiding out in Boathouse there for a hot second. And it does look like, once again, Reedsville is looking for the W in this particular round.
No charges.
Just little scouts, I suppose, but is that good enough to do anything? Not really.
Last
Sky
player
maybe to come to
standing.
contact as well. Not going to be able to wait very long. Japanese takes them down, and the Sky, I believe, is being cornered. Yeah, the Sky is being cornered. Actually being knifed. That's what was happening. I was like, it seems like there's people on them, but I don't know, and it was a knife.
Yeah, were they AFK? Like, what was going on there? I'm a little confused in that last endeavor, but I think they might be having some technical issues, possibly, which is why they are going to be calling the first time out here. And again, for Green Hope, it did look like that Sky just wasn't there. They weren't any lights on at home. But now, with another timeout, once again, it's time for the Zombie and Itsoka show. It's our favorite show here. And as we are now getting yet another timeout, I got to ask you, the fact that we have been seeing Ascent so much, and you even brought up that we're not going to be able to see as much Ascent once we start heading into the best of threes, because again, that's when we're going to be able to see more maps in play. For Ascent anyway, what are your thoughts on the map, particularly since we've been here so often?
My thoughts? I mean, I guess they're pretty neutral. They're pretty gray, It's kind of a neutral map. It's been consistent. I don't think it's ever been out of the map pool, right? And it's got okay aesthetics. I mean, at this point in time, it's kind of plain Jane, isn't it? Like, you play it because you're comfortable on it, but it doesn't really excite you so much. Unlike some of the newer maps, and I'm talking about even literally when it comes to the aesthetics. I feel like they've actually been more prone in the last 3 or 4 maps, because of the new one that just got announced, of actually looking really pretty, basically. Like, maybe I'm stereotyping, girls talk about prettiness, but seriously, this is just like bricks, mortar, a tool house. Come on, where's the fauna? Like Lotus. So that's my thoughts. Needs to be just a little bit more interesting. All we got is a tree here. Trapinese is going to take down the first kill. Got the ults and is ready to go on a killing spree. But actually, Green Hope High C playing a bit defensively, going for the retake instead, isn't really giving them the opportunity to go that killing spree yet. Might still be happening.
Well, now we're here in the post plan. It's going to have to be a retake coming from Green Hope, Fruit Punch, as they are able to at least find one elimination, but they still have to deal with Trapinese that has their Empress activated, and it has been pretty successful. Now another trade still going into the favor of Reedsville. As you can see, J-Joe does get eliminated, and finally the last player from Green Hope will fall, giving the bonus round to Reedsville.
Reedsville is really looking really good. I mean, Green Hope High C, gonna start paying attention a little bit more to what they can actually do here to start getting some rounds on the board. But Reedsville just seem like they're, they feel like they're cracked, right? Especially Trapinese, who just really was getting ramped up as that last best of 1 was developing. They started off with a couple of neat picks and a couple of like 2 or 3Ks, but it was towards the latter half, which they still unfortunately lost. I feel like Trapinese was doing really well, and perhaps actually the Reyna choice even further adding on to that's able to have a little bit more of an impact by their lonesome. But anyway, I really am paying attention now to Green Hope High C. Is it the case they're going to be just flattened, or are they still warming up themselves? KJ Utility defending the B site, which does seem to be the hit from Reedsville.
Yeah, and I like this slow and steady approach from Reedsville. I'm actually really a more fan of the patient play than going for the all-out blitz, because again, you're getting into the mind of your opponent, and even in an eco round, trying to apply that. As you can see, the peak now finally does go on to B main. They should get the intel that they do have some players there, but look at this, Reedsville actually going for a split push. This is going to shake things up for sure for Green Hope.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think we're hoping to surprise the A site a little bit more than they did. End up trading that, so not particularly favorable over there. Not going to force rotates or anything like that. Just some duels happening every which way on the map. All favorable for Reedsville, or almost all favorable. 3v1 at the end of it, and the spike has been planted. And there is the last taken down. Reedsville looking as strong as ever. A little bit of a change up of their strategy. Ended up working out as well. I mean, it wasn't dominating, but it did work, and I do like that they're changing things up, even as they continue to win and win and win and win.
I get this.
And you know what? I just got to give Scared of Girls a lot of credit there on the KJ, because they literally had 1 health to their name. So their only hope at winning that last exchange was flicking and landing the headshot before even 1 bullet could touch them. So again, that was really quick reaction and really sharp shot placement. Again, that was actually a much better, display of gun skill than, I think it would be given credit for. That was actually pretty impressive.
Immense Cosmos getting jumped upon, but fortunately able to survive. No, actually not. So many people were bearing down on them, so that was a difficult one there. The most they could have done was stay alive. Unfortunately, not able to do that. So spikes planted with all 5 members of Reedsville still up. We even have a KJ ult. If they wanted to use it, they really do not have to, though. They are continuing to win these gun battles. I think it's becoming more and more evident. It's not just that Reedsville has a couple of crack shooters that are really working off the momentum of the last game, but rather that they are just across the board winning the duels. You can see there that there's the last member taken care of. It's not that Green Hope High C can't win some of them, just it's not nearly as consistent.
Well, not only that, but that's the ripple effect, really, of the bonus round. There's so many implications when you win the bonus round that kind of, again, extend further into the map. They extend further into the round, into the game. That's why it is so pivotal to really come through when you have the advantage, when you have the bye round, going into that round 3 to stop, what would be Reedsville from getting that bonus, because now you have seen the ripple effects of what can happen. Now you're looking at a 5-0 deficit against Reedsville. So, again, Reedsville really just playing at the top of their game right now.
And very confident to move into the B sites. There are a couple of defenders there. They are not able to get any picks for the rest of Reedsville team gets onto site as well. Lamal just being very aggressive on the Phoenix, grabbing 2. They actually haven't had the highlight so much as of yet, but looking for one right now, as is Plain. They are managing to get 2. Can they get any more? 3v3 situation. KJ ult available for Reedsville. Again, if they would like to use it, although the KJ is the one that's actually coming over, rotating, so it'd be a bit awkward. But the rotate's going to work out beautifully in another way. Oh, the gun discipline right there. Trigger discipline. Didn't end up being the highlight moment, but obviously still helped create that crossfire. It's Lamau who gets the 3K to be a little bit more of the highlight for that round, but overall, Reedsville playing very well together.
Scared of Girls just scared me. I mean, they were waiting so long to pull the trigger on that headshot, and then when they finally did, the shots were all over the place. The bullet spray was going everywhere. I was convinced that they weren't even going to get the elimination, but again, that one I was holding my breath on for sure. Scared of Girls. I mean, you definitely scared me. But with that being said, it's still a round win. They still managed to come out with a dub, and now they go up 6-0 so far, unanswered by Green Hope, as now we head into round 7.
It's always great to see trigger discipline, but then I do feel like so many times we see it, it actually leads to this weird effect where you're like, I did it, I waited. Oh God, it's time to shine, and then you just screw up. I think that happens to a lot of people, and that would happen a little bit right there. But again, still end up getting the round all together now. And now Reedsville quickly onto the site, getting the plant entirely. A retake here from Green Hope High C. They have 3 ults. Actually, the Seekers could be extremely helpful. Lamal takes down the first, however. JJ0 trying to get something. Not able to help out as far as getting direct kills, but they are helping as the rest of their team come on in. Finally taking out themselves. 2v2 situation. Spike still taken down. Now only Che on the KO. Managed to find 1, but not the second. And that's another point for Reedsville.
And still, with only 2 health remaining, I mean, Con Solo just came in the clutch so much just then. And don't get me wrong, it was a double swing, yeah, sure. But once again, we're seeing the bait and switch. You throw out, the Omen, who was a little bit damaged there, and then Sova comes in to really block a lot of that damage. I mean, it was definitely barrel scoping that was occurring onto the Sova, and eventually they were eliminated. But with that small sliver of 2 health remaining, Omen was able to confirm the final elimination there on the KO. So again, just a fantastic play coming out from Reedsville, really making the numbers advantage count in their favor. As now they go up 7-0. Green Hope still looking to find their first win here on Ascent.
This is a not by round, shall we say, so I don't know if this is going to be it. Reedsville, a little bit slower going this time around, but ultimately still looking at that B spike plants. Scared of Girls, once again, having some activity over on A this time very successfully. They're still alive when they grabbed one, but really all the activity is over on B. Inferior guns of Green Hope High C making this a bit difficult, and it just is too many players now, I would say, for Reedsville. 2v4 situation. Inferior guns for defenders. Nice dodge away from that bird, and the immediate follow back and the kill. The trade does come through, but it was still good enough. 1v3. I believe the rest team of Reedsville will be able to go ahead and clean this up. Imogen, they pick up a Phantom. I guess they could just go ahead and save it. Oh, if they could have taken one and gotten away, that would have been kind of amazing, but not even able to get that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, it was an eco round, it was a save round for Green Hope, so it really was inferior weaponry. But again, we have seen thrifty rounds occur, so inferior guns are really only inferior in inferior hands. And fun fact, every gun is an inferior gun when they are in my hands.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm pretty promising with the judge, you know? Like, within a certain distance. Basically, if they just run to me and I have a judge, I feel pretty confident, so there's that.
Well, here we go now, heading into round number 9 with an even split in ult economy. You got 3 ults coming from Green Hope, 3 ults coming from Reedsville. Could make for a very interesting match now that Green Hope also are able to buy up this round.
I actually had some leaders going on to sites without checking for the KJ utility. So, like, the walk was really rather casual, but they walked over KJ util and they did get destroyed because of it. So, as much as it looked like Reedsville was about to get a sneaky sneak onto the site, easy peasy, it's really turned around on them. Nothing working out on the side of the B side of the map. And it is only the KJ who is once again making some activity over in the A that is left over. And you know, they can't go in time to actually stop the defuse. Of course, it was going to go ahead and save. So that was great. You know, should be positive. Green Hope High C finally getting their first round. But it also kind of felt like Reedsville was a little overconfident there. One, they did the KJ thing on the A site again, which might have just gotten a little bit too tired. And then two, they thought they had this clear entrance, and then they got bopped by KJ utility in one of the more common places that you would put it. So, great, Green Hope High C gets something, but kind of looking at Reedsville and being like, well, you kind of blame yourself, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. And honestly, once again, you know, we're seeing this push where you have KJ, who's kind of the lurker there out in towards mid. And look at this. That was a great KO dagger coming from Che in order to suppress nearly every player from the Reedsville team. But now you hear the running back has been activated. This is the time to use the null command. And there it goes. Chu has to use their ult, but they're gunned down before it can take effect. My goodness, the trade's being made now on the B side as the spike is still on its way to the boatyard, and now Scared of Girls will be eliminated. It is a 2v2 as KO's time has expired.
Yeah, Lamau actually making this look like a round that's still winnable for Reedsville. Otherwise, that was very awkward for a couple of different reasons. We'll get into it in a second. We'll see how this actually ends. Lamau, unfortunately, not checking the high ground, but able to survive and turn around. Now looking at Courtyard, successfully able to get the last kill, and that was all really Lamau. That's what I was trying to talk about. 4K right there. But first, they stopped the KO ult, which was surprising. I thought the timing was going to work out for the KO. And then, even though that wasn't as effective as you would hope, shutting that down, they were the ones that got the kills when the rest of the team was falling.
Yeah, again, Lamau really does show up when you need them the most. I mean, they've been pretty quiet for the majority of Ascent. I mean, they're still having a positive kill-death ratio, so you know they've been holding their own, but they really haven't popped off in a major way. But when their backs are up against the wall, that's when it seems like Lamau shows out the most, you know, because more often than not, they do have Trappanese to kind of lead the way for them. And whenever Trappanese, unfortunately, isn't there, it just seems like Lamau is there for the backup.
Seems to be the case. Certainly a highlight round for the last one, but now it's back to Trappanese getting that first pick. Scared of Girls also been so consistent. It's like their place as far as being the lurker is kind of a, you know, yeah, it's touch and go a little bit there, but they were able to get a trade at the very least. But they've been pretty consistent, always on the kill field, always helping out. The team of Reedsville do just seem to be altogether better, and that's what's led to them having a 8-round score lead, which might be furthering here as they are in a 4v2 situation with a spike planted.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really a big fan of Cha Cha Chu for no other reason than I really like their name. Also because they're playing KO. Love KO, but Cha Cha Chu. Again, just S tier name. I got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, right now, you know, they're not the biggest standout player, you know, and Green Hope, unfortunately, still sitting at now a 9-round deficit. But the name game, my goodness. I mean, Cha Cha Chu is winning.
Last round.
It's a pretty fun one. I want to say that really fast and really hype, you know, while I'm yelling. See how that works out. There's some of these names, honestly. Like, the more players in a game, the more chances you're going to have a real meme name make it to the VCT champions and be screamed at the top of their lungs in front of a huge crowd. And I'm just waiting for that opportunity, you know? I'm just waiting for Scared of Girls to be in that stadium and have their name yelled in excitement. Scared of Girls with the 5K! Like, yeah, that's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to be a crowd pleaser for sure. But regardless, now heading into round number 12, the last round of the first half. You can see Reedsville not pulling any punches. They just storm their way onto the A site and take it with some authority.
A lot of authority there. Already in a 5v2 situation with plenty of ults to use, and why not go ahead and use them? Have to, I guess, and they don't have to. They also could have a heal for Lamau, could come back in. Again, if they wanted to, it just feels like at this point they're so confident, not just because of the way the round's been working out, which they do get a flawless here, but because of the way that particular round started out. It was everything showing up for them, exactly how they predicted it, so they felt no reason to really, I suppose, over-defend, I guess, and use all their utility and all their ultimates. But now we have the swap, and we can see what Green Hope High C can do on attack. The swap was when Reedsville started to show more signs of life in their previous best of one. Do we see something similar from Green Hope High C?
Well, that remains to be seen. Again, now we have already seen some pretty impressive comebacks. Again, Reedsville were on the come up of a comeback in the previous round, but they went into the half at 10-2. So, I mean, they did have at least one extra round to their name. So it looks even less favorable for Green Hope. But at the same time, hope is in their name. They got it.
Hope can only go so far, I'm afraid.
You could do anything if you believe.
Well, think of a new color. Sorry, that's the kid that's being a butt. That's okay. Reedsville is having a little bit more difficulty on the defense, but they might just be able to do well enough to go ahead and take the round, and that does seem to be the case, actually. So they still end up cleaning everything up, swiping it over into the dustpan, and Reedsville will now be on match points, and this is one where they are expected to win as well.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. And I have to remind those watching that the team that had 3 players on it managed to secure 1 win. And actually, I think didn't they secure 2?
Yes.
Okay, so now you have a fully kitted team of 5 on the precipice of only getting 1 win. Where a team of 3 managed to get 2.
You know, again, more testament to how strong the 3 players were. If only the rest of the team was there. This is actually going pretty well for Green Hope High C, so I think Reedsville was caught being a little too overly aggressive, a little overly confident. The surprise factor wasn't there, if that's what they were hoping for. And the plant will come on in. Still winnable for Reedsville if they want to win it right here, right now. It is possible, but if not, so many more chances to do so. And the surprise coming out from the smoke. Hello, gonna 3K for Imogen. Actually make that 4. And they are gonna get the ace. Hey, something to put in the highlight reel, even if the rest of this map doesn't go super well. That was pretty freaking sick. And Reedsville got to calm down a little bit and remember to stay tight as they actually trying to finish off this best of one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just here for VESL Valorant so far in the qualifiers, you can't even count on one hand the amount of aces we have. So just being able to be among those few, it has to feel good for Imogen. I mean, they are able to come through with the ace, and you know what? They were able to use the stinger to get a winner. And now, just like that, they have their 2 wins on the board. Is it comeback season, Zombie? Is it comeback season?
Last time we thought the winds were changing, that's when they just did the game ended. So I don't want to. I don't want to say anything. Japanese takes down the first, and that seems to be usually what this actually is the pattern I think that's been set up in so many rounds. Japanese, then scared of girls getting picks, and then whatever else happens, it ends favorably for Reedsville. So let's see if that's the case here once again. Match points. Japanese, another one goes down. Consolo will grab the last, and that in fact will be the 13-2 victory for Reedsville, getting the W on the board after a somewhat heartbreaking, I guess, last map, because they were starting to really get ramped up. And you got to wonder if they had played this one first, won it like this, and then played their last opponents, how different that would have looked. But such is the way of, I suppose, groups in the scheduling. But really good showing from them.
100%. And you know what? I think Reedsville made the appropriate adjustments. I feel like they went into that first matchup a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more ambitious, which is why we saw some interesting characters, interesting composition in agents like ISO. And I think in this matchup, I think they took the game a little bit more seriously. And I honestly think they went with their comfort picks, because we did see the changes, from the ISO to the Phoenix, from the Jet to the Reyna. And, clearly Trapanese is a phenomenal duelist, being able to really come through and shine no matter what the circumstances are, but it really did seem like Reyna was their comfort pick. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Lamau was a Phoenix main. Clearly it looked to me as though they were a little bit more comfortable on the Phoenix than they were on that ISO. So I think, in the first round, they were being a little bit ambitious with their composition. And I think coming into this second matchup after taking a defeat, they went back to their comfort picks. And honestly, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to compositions and agent selection in any game, in any esport, comfort pick over everything else. So I think Reedsville have definitely learned a lot just from today, from the two matches that they played.
I think you're right. Well, we'll see what the desk thinks as we head on over to him.
Well, we might have an interesting turn of events for this
scenario.
group. We have a three-way tie.
Everyone in the group has 1 win, 1 loss.
Yeah. I believe we're not going to take my word on this yet because I haven't done the math. I believe that Reedsville has qualified,
Comes out of the group.
or at least comes out of the group, to move on to bracket play on Thursday. And I think that makes Wake. I think Wake also qualified. I think Green Level
top 2.
is top 2 out of the group, so I believe that Wake and Reedsville qualified.
Yep.
Don't think that we're going to see Green Hope or Green Level?
Green Hope High C.
Green Hope see move on. We have had quite a few tied in a few groups. I know we had one tie over on the quad stream today, and then we had one other group tie yesterday. So then it comes down to round differential. So
Yep.
sad to see. This group competed well. It's just every round counts, man.
Yep.
And that's why you take it seriously. Don't choke. Don't throw rounds. Don't joke around. It comes down to the last moments.
Yep. Unfortunately, Green Hope High C, their run ends here, but we still have B and A from that school. So we'll see if they can bring home some wins for Green Hope.
Yeah. We got, I believe, West Forsyth versus actually Green Hope B up next for our next match. My alma mater, West Forsyth, over in Clemens, North Carolina. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do, see what that team looks like. And then we get to see another Green Hope team.
Yep.
What'd you think about that last match?
Pretty good. Trapanese and Scared of Girls really just took over. Scared of Girls getting 1 or 2 on the look pretty much every round on the T side. And Trapanese starting with like a 11-0 half in terms of kills death. So honestly, just strong players on the side of Reedsville that helped them.
It's really interesting that this game was like basically one-sided, it seemed like, for most of the game. And then the whole group tied.
Mm-hmm.
Because Reedsville, kind of close game with Wake.
Yeah, could have gone either way. Couple rounds.
And then
They just stomped Green Hope.
yeah, And Reedsville was just like, nope, had enough of this. We're not losing another, and took it to them. So, and that many rounds, that round differential probably just saved them.
Yep.
So, every round counts. Hopefully, we get a close game.
Yeah.
For our last one of the night. You already know where I'm pulling.
Yeah. You're
It'll
pulling
be
for
good old West Forsyth.
yeah.
We'll see what they bring to the table. We haven't seen, a lot of these schools are still new to the league. We haven't seen any of these teams play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to see even the teams that we've had in the league, a lot of them brand new rosters.
Yeah.
A lot of new faces in the league this year. So I'm looking forward to our upcoming regionals too in January.
Should be good.
It's not that far away.
Yeah.
We only got
1 month.
a month and a few weeks till regionals, which should be very exciting. We have 3 events going on in the same weekend, one in Charlotte, one in Greensboro, and one in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we'll be releasing more information on that later to come. I think we're going to hop to a quick break when we prep this West Forsyth and Green Hope B team into the lobby and see what happens.
Welcome back, everyone. We have our Valorant regional qualifier underway yet again. We were here yesterday, we're here today and tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. But today we're getting into our last best of one. Enunciating is hard. We got Green Hope B versus West Forsyth. You know, I heard them say it and I was like, I need to remember how to say that. And then we had a break and then I've totally forgotten how to say it.
I think it's Forsyth. Yeah, I mean, that seems legit to me.
Yes, I believe our producer even actually literally wrote how to pronounce it, and that's what it was. Forsyth. I got it now. Yes,
Forsyth.
That'll be our last best of one of the day.
I'll admit, though, Forsyth would have been much cooler. Let the darkness consume you. Like, I'd have been down for some Forsyth, but no, Forsyth, that'll work as well. Let the hatred flow through you. You know, again, missed opportunity, but you know, we get what we get, and you know, we're gonna have to stick with Forsyth. Let's see though if the darkness will be flowing through them as they get ready to head into their matchup. Again, you know, they're gonna have to bring, you know, their A game here. You know, going up against Green Hope. This time it's gonna be Green Hope B. If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be taking this matchup. And you know what? Another thing, you know, while we were, you know, at intermission, you know, we got to see a glimpse of, you know, different maps, which is nice. I like that in intermissions, you know, we get to see like an overview of all the other different maps because, you know, Lord knows we haven't been getting any variety in these best of ones. It's just been ascent. And you know what? Going into this next one, I'm expecting ascent.
Me too, unfortunately. It's like, thank you for the, you know, the beast reels and whatnot to show off the other maps, but apparently they don't actually get to see them. I really do hope it's something different, even though like I don't actually have really like a preference for a lot of the other maps that have been around for a long time, like Haven or Bind, I suppose. Like, obviously I want something different, but you know, they're fun, whatever. But I really would love to see some of the very newer maps, just because I think that they look nice and I enjoy watching how they play. And it's not maybe so different sometimes, as our desk even talked about a little bit with the Split and Sunset, but I don't know. Novelty is desperately needed right now as far as the maps, but that's up to the players. And if they want to play on the most comfortable map in the map pool to ever exist, well, then they keep on playing Ascent. So that's fair.
I do like watching Split though. I mean, I've gotten to see a good amount of Split actually come to like a resurgence, and honestly, it was one of the first maps that I ever played on, you know, playing Valorant, and I think that's the case for maybe a lot of people. But with that being said, there's just something about it that's just so fun. Again, it kind of like throws a wrench into things because it's not your typical map of sight lines. For example, like mid is very short. It's very short mid. Again, and just having the two high elevation levels both on the B site and on the A site, where I know you have, you know, you pretty much just have rafters over there on A and then you have ropes on B, which makes Split very, very fun. And again, just being able to have such close combat in mid, I think makes it very interesting. But we're not going to see we're not going to see any Split today. You know why? Because we are going back to Ascent until it falls out of the sky. We are just going to weigh this map down as much as we possibly can.
It's so amazing, actually. I actually, this is now just kind of funny. There's safety maps and maps that are considered most well balanced, sure, but usually at some point, you know, with the 8 best of ones that we've had and only one hasn't been Ascent, you just have a team that really prefers a different map. I mean, we sometimes even have like crazy takes, you know, like people choosing Icebox.
Come on. No, that was a jab right there coming from my top. How you gonna put me on blast while we're live? Come on now.
I'm sorry. But seriously, you have those. You have those appear, you know? Or Breeze when it was super defensive sided or super offensive sided. And it's just like, and then it's not happened at all here. The most you really get to see, I suppose, of the team personalities is, of course, the gameplay, which is fascinating and awesome.
Select
but then,
your agent.
you know, the agent selection. But every one of them is like, Ascent's pretty normal, and we just want to be normal. And I actually am starting to get a little surprised. It was interesting, it was memey, it was kind of a joke, and now I'm just back to being just like, huh, interesting. I don't know what my emotion is going to be tomorrow when we have another 4 Ascents, but we'll find out.
No, tomorrow I think we're going to get some variety I hope. But with that being said, at least our producer hinted at that. Pizza Time is letting us know that, get ready for a change up tomorrow, which would be nice. But right now, we got to tackle this 4th Ascent map, which is going to be our last of the day. So again, we got to get into it. And right now I have a red flag going up for Green Hope B, because they are bringing 3 duelists into this matchup on Ascent, when Ascent more often than not is favored as a double initiator composition, not even double duelist, double initiator composition. So on a map where typically you would bring 1 duelist, Green Hope is bringing 3.
Yeah, that is very interesting. We thought we might see that 2 games ago, and then it just ended up being a non-confirmed pick. But yeah, no Sova, no KJ, no KJ on the side of West Forsyth either. Interesting.
No, but they still have a Sentinel. They brought Sage.
Yeah, they do still have that. Well, I
all
am
their bases covered.
I am going to be very curious to see how this triple duelist is going to work out, because right, it is the more interesting of them. We did see some shenanigans up in Game Changers. If you guys paid attention to that with a 4 duelist mistake, maybe there's some inspiration there. But let's see.
Actual insta-locking in Game Changers.
Yeah, that was that. I love that went around the internet as a whole, by the way. But we got ourselves a back and forth here, as it is now favorable towards West Forsyth.
1 enemy
Now
remaining.
it's turning around a little bit. 2v1 though, and the last player for Green Hope B is so injured. Anything would have taken them down, and Q will get that pick and the defuse as well, starting things off right for West Forsyth.
Yeah, well, they're the ones that are kind of going with more of the typical setup that you would expect to see on Ascent. They're not dropping down the triple duelist. I mean, granted, they're still going with the double duelist, but the duelists that they are bringing are pretty good on the entry. Raze, again, they have the boom packs. They can force their way on the site, but Reyna in particular with the Leers, they're kind of compensating for blinds that would come out from another initiator. Sova doesn't have blinds. You would more often go with a KO, because the KO not only does have the blinds, but they also have the null command. They have the suppression of the KO dagger. So, being able to compensate with the Reyna on the blinds, I think is actually going to help them, when they have plays where they're lacking that extra initiator.
The site B is going to be the hits, and Rhino starts off things strong as Green Hope B hope to take the second round. A bit of a surprise fashion. They get the plant once again. They weren't able to see that till the end. That was a nice Yoru blind right there. And now Green Hope B is
1
actually
enemy
looking
remaining.
White Post. Vainglory was trying to turn that around, but does get taken down by Rhino once again. Now it is down to the last for West Forsyth, who is going to duck up in the corner and gonna get daggered. And it's tied up now 1-1.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious here, because it seemed like Green Hope bought up and West Forsyth didn't buy at all. I'm a little confused. I couldn't even tell if West Forsyth had even bought that round. But Green Hope, they were bringing in the Spectres. They should, I'm pretty sure they bought up. That was actually probably a, less than traditional round, to say the least. A little confusing even, but it does look like, it is going to be a broken buy from both sides going into round number 3.
Yeah, trying to figure this one out. All right. So it mixes up now as we get over to the A. Sova is going to get a shock darts, but not find any damage. Knowing that the entire team is stacked up there at this point, and it absolutely will be that A hit. Skydog leading the way. There is an opening here to get onto the site, but West Forsyth are getting positioned to try and tackle this retake, which they actually... I mean, they're delaying the actual plant a little bit here. In fact, very successfully as Reverse Craft. I think I read that right. Takes down 2. Now tucked up into hell a little awkwardly right now. Trying to escape out, but escape not so much. Just running into the gunfire of 4, now 3 remaining members of West Forsyth, who will be able to hold off on any plants and any spike detonation. And now we have West Forsyth taking that victory 2-1. What do the guns look like now, though? That's what I was really curious about, honestly. Not even particularly that round, just what the buys are going to be after.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they're looking like right now is that, we're getting actually a buy up from Green Hope again. which is interesting because, you know, again, it feels like they did kind of hero buy, at least in round number 2, because again, I saw a Spectre, unless they got an early elimination from Forsyth when they pushed up and then just took their Spectre. And honestly, I'm starting to think that's the case because unfortunately for Forsyth, they can't really buy up at all. I think I did see one hero buy on the Phantom, but that's about it.
I think you're right about that. Just the one Phantom. Oh, West Forsyth are about to deal with a lot of characters onto the B site. Unfortunately, M2, I guess. Yeah, probably should have tried to back away. Went a little bit scouting. Didn't realize perhaps that Green Hope B were being so aggressive through mid, and then we're taken down and able to stall out at all. The plant will come down, and there's still 2 left alive for West Forsyth. They got the Omen and the Rain. They're gonna try and make something happen here. Do have some decent guns as well, but a little awkward going through the smoke. Reverse Craft was able to get some revenge, but now in a 1v2. Teleports in here, successfully hidden, sneaking around, and the angles are not quite set up ideally. Oh no, there was no check on that corner. Now there's a check on the corner, however, but the kill is maybe not fast enough. It is fast enough. Now he's going to take the 1v1 with the Sky. Little tag being played here. The attackers are trying to... Whoa, the Sheriff comes out, actually. What the... Okay, well, he gets the kill, but unfortunately won't get the defuse. I guess realizing that he was going to run out of bullets and then change it over, or am I... Was that the play to actually bring out the Sheriff right there? It's 6 bullets left in his rifle.
I'm not entirely sure. It did feel like they were running low in their primary weapon. And again, you know, when we just saw it just now after they survived the round, they did have 0. They had 0 in the Vandal, so they had to break out the Sheriff. And, you know, respectable that, you know, they didn't even go down. And they managed to get the exit frag on the way out, getting a 4K in that round. Not bad. Granted, there wasn't enough time left on the spike for the defuse. And then not only that, but Reverse Craft, just for even more, I guess, just to add a little bit onto that, they even used their ult to avoid the detonation of the spike.
Oh yeah, I was still thinking about that changeover, but yeah, I think they just the 6 bullets left on the rifle might have been able to do significant damage, I guess. But running over to the pistol, maybe also kind of a feel right there. Thought they were running low, didn't know exactly how low. Either way, yeah, the spike time was the main problem. So even though that was a decent job, that was a good attempt, it wasn't enough. Now we have a very good job from Mnihu, who didn't really get a say in that last round, taken down first and foremost, now getting 3 before being taken down. The plant will happen, but in a 2v4 situation. OBC, Sue, they have such interesting names this time around. Will tuck themselves up in Boathouse, and that is working, I guess, enough to help out, but maybe not enough. Diffuse halfway? Yes, diffuse halfway. And oh, they actually do try to swing out in time. It's going to be a clutch from Green Hope B. Kaitao really coming through right there.
Yeah, that was a massive clutch right there. And again, this is coming from the triple duelist setup, which is, you know, kind of meeting the expectations of succeeding on the offensive side of the spike, right? I mean, you're coming in with 3 duelists. You have got to come strong on the attack. But meanwhile, you have Forsyth, who managed to get 2 defensive wins so far. And honestly, in that last bout, I feel like they should have won, given that they had the 2v1 scenario and then also got the defuse to half. But again, that Yaldo, ice in the veins, no hesitation at all, was able to find both head clicks and the win, giving Green Hope the lead for the first time so far here in this matchup.
Need help.
Mnihu going to delay the attempt to break through B main, but it is going now to be through mid and courtyard, perhaps? No, it's actually fully on into a defender side, and I don't believe West Forsyth were necessarily expecting that. They are taken down, now down to 3 members. Green Hope B also lost 1. But they will definitely be getting the spike plant. It's gonna be retake here from West Forsyth. They have the the Sage ult. They have the res that they could use, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Bringing up their Reyna once again. Reverse Craft also making some movement onto the actual site. Computer coming on through. Teleport on top of the box here. Now that is found out. So that was super successful. Maybe the timing with the teammates wasn't perfect. But is it going to be enough for West Forsyth? It is going to be enough. Even with the QT Vision, who was rezzed, right? So that really came through as they look at the defuse.
Yeah, they literally turned the tables just with a simple, you know, ultimate, you know, coming from the Sage, getting that res. I mean, it was at a 3v4, and then all of a sudden, you know, Reverse Craft a reverse craft, apologies, managed to find an elimination while the res was coming through. So it literally went from a 3v4 to a 4v3 in the favor of Forsyth. Great use of the utility, great use of the ultimate, and honestly just a flawless retake there on the A site. And now, once again, Zombie, we have ourselves a tie game here.
This seems to be the neck and neck game that we've been missing for the last 6 best of 1. Some of them were a bit close, but not as neck and neck as it was for the very first best of 1 yesterday. So it's been a little while, but I hope it does continue. The Hunter's Fury comes out to delay and actually entirely stop the attempt to hit onto B. Now we're back through mid. They try to go all the way back to the backside of the defenders, and that didn't end up working out, although it had some success in the midst of it. This attempt to go through tree also not working out beautifully, but it is a 3v3 situation, so enough to perhaps get on the sites, get on the spike plants, dimensional drift, giving them some scouting information, getting the Euro set up. However, caught reloading, that is not what you want. Green Hope B will take their 4th as the successful attack, and the plant worked out for them.
Yeah, and you know what, I gotta say, granted that I did, and it's still a little bit of a red flag that Green Hope is coming in with 3 duelists, but they clearly know what they are doing. They know how to play these characters, at least to the extent of being able to find these round wins. And honestly, I was a little bit nervous because, again, you know, they're lacking in certain areas here. Clearly, you know, with a little bit of entry that is being kind of forsaken when you're looking at the initiators here. But with that being said, also they don't have any sentinels either, so I'm a little bit worried on how they're going to perform on defense. But at least for the very most, it is clear that they know how to play the characters that they picked.
I was going to say that Sentinel missing. I am worried about their swap, which we'll obviously get to in at least somewhat of a balanced manner. But then also, I mean, I guess the duelists are working out, and I'm not going to try and overanalyze something that these guys are much better than I am, but it is working out, but that would be my main concern. The knives are also working out. Basie getting one in mid. The spike is actually in a very interesting place. The Omen has it waiting to do that teleport, and that's exactly what they will do, given the green lights. I mean, I wonder if they could have just joined up as opposed to having to use the ult. That's exactly what their plan was. And now they're getting the plants on the site. We've got gun battles happening every which way that we're booking. Pistols involved right now. Finally, the superior weapon wins, but only for that particular duel. Vainglory came in with a frenzy. Still has the frenzy. He could pick up a better gun. There we go. The Vandal, though, has 3 bullets. Got to reload. Will have time to do so. Breaks down the door. Pew and Kevin helping out tremendously, but not able to get the shots consecutively. And that will leave Vainglory all by their lonesome. They do manage to back away here. They got a chance to take on a 1v2, but they got to do it very, very quickly. The spike is counting down. They don't know where their opponents are. They are going to take down one. Can they get the other one? They might just be able to, but they will not be getting the spike defused. That is the main problem, as Jogo would win. Even goes for the knife and the successful escape.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, that knife was so cheeky too. I mean, it was also dangerous and a big risk, because imagine had they had the knife out and you know, that last player there had actually checked where they were. That would have been a huge throw. But regardless, I mean, they managed to come through. A sneaky assassination coming from the Reyna there, coming from Jogo would win, and a big win for Green Hope, as now they are going to be able to go up 2 rounds, have some economy on their side, and have a little insurance against Forsyth. But now Forsyth having an opportunity to strike back. 2 ults at the ready, and they are able to buy up.
There. Through mid. Being sure to check their corners. This time around, I think what's important here is that Mhu, I was gonna say survives to help with the defense, but that didn't survive for very long. Taken down from a location they simply were not looking at. The QD Vision with the Empress activated was trying to make some real ripples right there. Unfortunately, not going to be able to. And now it's all down to Reverse Craft in a 1v3. He still has some time to think things through, but a 1v3 incredibly difficult to do. Make that a 1v2. This is absolutely doable at this point. They got a lot of utility on their side as well. It's just not utility that can help them find where their enemies have stacked up, but they're just finding them anyway. And that time around, not even looking the right direction. 1v1. Absolutely doable, but there it is. Not being able to know exactly where Logan was going to position themselves, and they positioned themselves actually quite forward. Does get the W for Green Hope, extending their lead 6-3.
Yeah, now let's see if they will be able to come with a full buy now here for Forsyth. I mean, Forsyth, it has been broken buy after broken buy after broken buy. And, you know, we haven't really seen like a full-on save other than the pistol round. And, you know, I think that might be what they need. I mean, they still have a little bit of money here. And you know what? This might be one of the better buys they have, simply because they were able to, you know, get all rifles with the exception of Imhu, who is coming through with the Spectre. But with that being said, what makes me nervous now is Yoru having the ult at the ready, and then also having a judge in hand. As you can see, the Yoru ult has been activated.
They were able to win with this last time. Okay, it was actually still kind of close, a little bit by the skin of their teeth, but once again, getting that scouting in, and perhaps getting a good position as well. That was the fake Euro. They're still tucked in behind that wall. Going to peek out again very, very soon. Maybe win the duel. Not quite. Doing a lot of damage, forcing the heal from the Sage, but elsewhere, West Forsyth have gotten a couple of kills, evening the score 3-3. Just a very injured Sage, however. QDivision coming in, and actually that sight looking suspiciously open. To go for the defuse would be quite dangerous. They gotta check their corners. Unfortunately, checked right instead of left in hell. Now they are going to be able to get res safely, in fact, too. So that means that Green Hill B is on their last player in a 1v2 situation. The wall comes up. The spike was actually planted in a very good scenario. Extremely good for Logan. And I guess basically the defenders never got sight on where the spike actually was planted, so that turned a little awkward on them.
And again, that was a good attempt, you know, coming from Imhu, especially coming through with that res. But at the end of the day, you know, Logan has just been quick on the sticks. I mean, their flicks have been impeccable. Even in the last round with the 1v1 against Reverse Craft, they managed to come away with a quick head click and, you know, clutch the dub there. And they do so again, back-to-back clutch wins. Coming from Logan, being able to hold down the spike and hold down the site and run time to the point where, unfortunately, Forsyth weren't able to come away with the defense. But now they're going to try again. Here we go. Now, round 11 underway.
Who is trying to get some type of block and then just running away instantly. Is trying to stay alive to help out their teammates. This time we'll be able to do so. Also, Vainglory with the Hunter series successfully getting a kill. Now the Omen ults make things a bit difficult. Not quite knowledge of where exactly everyone is, but it seems like it's going well enough for West Forsyth anyway, as our opponents are down to 2. Obesu able to take down 1. Maybe make some move over to the actual spike. Coming in with a little bit of a pincer. The wall goes down, however.
1 enemy remaining.
And now it's only 1. So it does seem like West Forsyth are going to get that point, and in fact they do. It's just all those blue dots swarming around a simple couple of Green Hill B. They're able to get the win right before the half. Now, if they win this one as well before the half, going into the swap at 5-7, that would actually feel totally fine.
Yeah, 5-7's not bad at all, especially when, you know, you're going up against a composition that is really attacker heavy. And you know what? They're going to stick with it as well. I mean, once again, you're looking at 2 LMGs coming out on the side of Green Hope. You got the Ares and the Odin. That should make you a little bit nervous. But meanwhile, West Forsyth, they are going to be able to come through with a full kit here, rifles and full shields all around. But again, Green Hope, they have the ults in their side, and out comes the Blade Storm in. The LMGs laying waste to the ice wall.
Oh, once we're done with that, we could go back to the knives. They have successfully breached the A sites as they also take down Reverse Craft while doing so. And the ults haven't come through very effectively, giving them the chance to win here. 8-4 would be great for Green Hope B. 4-3 as far as the Asian's still alive. Jogo would win with the Empress, not able to find a lot of success as QDivision wins the duels of the Reyna. And Vainglory just catching Rhino, not looking the right direction. 3 left over for West Forsyth. It means it's very promising for them. Logan gets taken down. Now 1v2, just Kaitao has been able to do things certainly in different rounds. Can they do it here? They get 1. Can they get another? They got kind of a weird gun situation that I think ultimately affected some of that final decision making right there. And it will be West Forsyth taking care of things in time to get the defuse, and yes, that 5th point on the board before they go into the swap.
Switching
And, you know,
sides.
like we were saying, you know, that 7-5, not bad at all. I mean, honestly, considering some of the matches that we've had today, going into the half at a 7-5 split is probably one of the best halves that we've seen all day. So again, not too bad for West Forsyth, but I got to tell you, Green Hope did a pretty good job on the offensive side as expected. And you know what? I really need to see more use coming out of that Omen. No, I know that they have that triple duelist comp, but we really need to see, you know, more use of the Omen, more smokes, because again, it feels like, you know, Green Hope with the triple duelist, you know, they're just barging in and, you know, they're kind of leaving the Omen behind, which, you know, they should, as they are the controller. But unfortunately, it's like they're ignoring the amount of help that the Omen is trying to give them. You know, the Omen is trying to set up plays, and, you know, the rest of the duelists on the side of Green Hope are like, you know what, screw it, we ball.
Which has worked to a, you know, some extent, certainly, but it's trying to slip perhaps. Let's see what the swap looks like, because now the team with the 3 duelists and no Sentinel is going to be on the defense. So how exactly is that going to look? Unfortunately, I got to say the Sage, you know, defense as far as Sentinels go wasn't really, I mean, all that impactful. Delays here and there. So maybe a Sentinel isn't required, but we find ourselves quickly into an even 3v3. The gun battle ends favorably for that Sage that I was just talking about, but does finally get taken down by Jogo. Now a 2v1, which Kaital will go ahead and win. Green Hope B will get the first round on the defense, despite that lack of Sentinel. Ain't no problem. And probably, presumably, get the second too, but they had that weird buy last time, so I don't know, are we seeing more typical stuff here?
Decoy.
Well, yeah, it actually does look like they are going to be buying up a little bit, which is to be expected in round 2. But on the side of Forsyth, they're going to stick with the pistols. They're going to try and save what they can, even though you do see Pew going with the full shield and the Sheriff, you know, because that is pretty much equivalent to a buy when you have that low of economy. So let's see if it works out for them, as now we get round 14 underway.
Yeah, I guess it was when they were in the first half. It was odd for them to do it, but now it makes sense for them. They are checking to see if it's going to be an A hit, and absolutely it is. Unfortunately, you really got to kind of face check with it, so it could be a bit dangerous. But Rhino, as the Omen, does have at least a way to escape if they all came charging, I suppose. It's actually going to be Green Hope B that are kind of coming at West Forsyth. Now they realize a rotate's on the way, so that Reyna that looked like maybe could go for a bit of a lurk, now going to try and check out mid. We had Reverse Craft stay behind, unfortunately got taken out, so the spike will probably get planted onto B, but Green Hope B will have all of their members alive to go for the retake.
Yeah, not to mention you can see that Jet already lurking there in market. They are ready and they are prepared with a Marshall in hand, able to get one shot off, looking to find another, and the Jet will finally go down after such a crossfire. And take a look at this. You do have a QT Vision trying to stay alive. I'm not even sure how they're still alive. Only 22 health as the spike is now ticking away against Green Hope.
Yeah, they do get a heal, thankfully, from Sage. 4v4 situation. Mnu getting the first pick of this particular battle, but now it's all green across the board, mostly thanks to Logan, who is going to grab that 3K, and the defuse will be no problem whatsoever. Green Hope B extending their lead. As we said, they kind of expected it, but still it can get a little dicey, but it's going to be 9-5, so very close to some double digits.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, again, to be expected as we get ready to head into what is going to be the first buy round for Forsyth in the second half. They should be able to come through with full rifles and shields, hopefully for them, because Green Hope, again, they're just widening their lead as now they have 4 rounds to their advantage.
Feeling good about their decisions, I guess. Triple duelist working out well for them. West Forsyth started to kind of come back a little bit on the defense, but once again, in that difficult scenario of making the comeback happen. They've been clawing their way up very painfully, and now they've kind of slipped back again. This will be the time to get the momentum restarted, as they have done a little bit more of a split here. A bit more interesting. Unfortunately, that's going to be the 2 picks going to the side of Green Hope B, so I think they're trying a different approach, different tempo, and it just was not successful. West Forsyth down 2 members, down 3 members actually, down to their last 2. And I don't think it's going to go super well as that another falls. Jogo would win, would love the 4K. And they might just be able to get it now. Rhino's going to get that one, but still, the team ever comes through, and now Green Hope B are in fact on 10.
Yep, that they are, and they are paving their way for a victory here. First into the double digits, a 5-round lead, and they are around the corner from taking a solid victory here on Ascent. This triple duelist composition definitely working out in their favor, especially when you're hitting your shots like that. I mean, they have been hitting high percentage as far as head clicks are concerned, and you know what? I think they're going to keep on doing it, especially when they are on the precipice of getting yet another round win, forcing West Forsyth into an eco round.
Now, obviously, Logan top on the charts for Green Hope B have been, they've been very stable. We haven't had quite that, you know, like 28 kills and then 14 is the next highest situation, but we have had a little bit of a standout on that Sky. Very, very fast attack exec onto the B site. I like it, trying to once again change up the tempo a little bit. It just once again doesn't seem to be working. Kaitao is able to take down 3 before going down himself in Boathouse. Because it was such a swift little blitz there, it seems like he might just be able to get... no plan, actually. Spike is a very awkward scenario. So no, not even that. It is going to be Green Hope B cleaning things up pretty swiftly for a very swift round in general. And now they are 1 away from match
Let's
point.
leave whatever happened in the past.
And that they are. Not only that, but finally, Forsyth will get a last chance opportunity here to buy up. And now this is what is definitely considered a must-win round for Forsyth. If they don't win this one out, they're going to be forced to go into match point in an eco round. And that is all going to be but give the victory away to Green Hope. So this is going to be their last chance effort here as we get ready now to head into round 17. Yes, round 17. Again, caster math on point.
It's so difficult. It's honestly the worst part about Valorant casting. But the best part is seeing some comebacks happen. I'm hoping this is it. Vainglory able to get the first pick, and I believe an Ops has come into play. I didn't actually get to check on who that was, but now it's going to be coming in a little bit more of a close quarters scenario. Let's see if it works out. It is on the Jet. That should be expected. And it is in a prime position up on Heaven, while all the members of West Forsyth still stuck back there almost near Wine, actually. And that is going to be it for that round. Not for the best of 1, but as you were saying, almost effectively so. It is a very difficult round to win for West Forsyth, as they don't have too many of the great guns, but they do have 4, almost 5 ultimates. So let's see what can happen there with this force. I mean, they got, you know, rifles, just not all rifles.
Yep, and then we have the lingering stinger in the hands of Pew there. But honestly, good on them just for getting some economy around where they can actually buy a rifle for reverse craft going into this next round. I mean, definitely a better chance than most in this situation. But off the rip, thanks to the kill feed, we already have a trade being made over towards B. And it is actually going the way of West Forsyth as the res comes in as well. Pretty clutch there to give them the body count advantage for V2 now in the favor of Forsyth.
And they certainly are able to pick up all of the guns, right? I mean, they actually are in a prime position to win this round. No problem. Might not have to use the rest of their ultimates either. Save that for the next round. Oh, nicely done. Thought they might still be approaching B and still a little cautious of it, but checking that mid nets the Oppa kill. Nicely done here. Rhino coming in with the Odin. Gets caught looking the wrong direction. And Obey CIW, I guess. It's up to them if they want to win right here, right now. And with the knives and a float, it will be completely ineffective. So that is a 4K for Cutie Vision coming out strong there in that round. But then also the Sage res really helping things through. They've got the guns. They've still got some ultimates. And this could still be the start of the comeback.
It very well could be, and you know what? Still, though, you have to consider that it is match point for Green Hope, and they have had so much economy in their favor. They literally have enough to retire on. So again, going down a round or 2 isn't going to really do them too much damage, but if Forsyth really want to come through and try and make a comeback, they're going to have to hit them where it hurts. They're going to have to hurt them in the purse. Let's see if they can do just so, as now we're heading into round 19.
Oh, it's a very different play here from Green Hope B. They went offensive into mid, and they were almost catching West Forsyth looking entirely the wrong direction. But then they did go ahead and check out mid, so they're able to at least get 1 before being traded out. And it's not going to be the jump scare that I think that Green Hope B were hoping for to be a little more effective. 3v3 situation. West Forsyth. This is the last time they can actually make a stand, and unfortunately, it's not starting off too great, and it's not ending too great either, as they will fall, and Green Hope B will take a 13-6 score. And that will be the end of this best of one, as well as the end of today's Valorant matches. All Ascent today. Not even a little tiny, small, cheeky Lotus to throw in there. All Ascent, all the action. Different compositions, though, and at least we saw the new agent today, which I was pretty happy about.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Even though that did end up in a loss, we did get to see them actually come back in the following matchup. Again, they had a doubleheader today, so they were able to redeem themselves. And you know what? They looked a lot stronger when they were on what I assume to be their comfort picks. But we already know Captain be capping. For all I know, it might not be, but they did seem to play a little bit better on those picks than the ones that they had made previously. And you know what? Again, as we continue on, we really get to see how the post, well, I'll call it the postseason, but you know what I'm talking about is the lands, the playoffs. Those are starting to shape up as now we are getting the names filled in on who to look out for, and it is making Valorant here at VESL just that much more interesting as time continues to push forward.
I think there's actually a lot to be discussed as far as how the groups have shaped out. I know the casters, the desk, I should say, has been doing that every so often, but let's go ahead and kind of get that rundown, breakdown as well. So let's send it over to the couch.
What a great match.
What a
Sad
match.
for me, though.
Yeah,
My prediction was off.
that was correct. Green Hope B team coming out with the win. I want to highlight the Sky and Yoga players. Logan really showed up that match. Really had a lot of clutches, impact kills. Played a good game.
Yeah, I don't really want to give Green Hope any love right now. You know, West Forsyth just couldn't pull it off.
Yep.
It was unfortunate. I'm, wish to see better from West
Happens.
Forsyth. You know, we have a bunch of different teams in the league this year, so, the skill's just going to keep growing. We have so many skilled players in the league this year that the competition it's crazy to see the different level of competition we have this year, especially compared to last season.
Yeah, last season. A lot of rough.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. But then you also see some of the teams that we had last season and the
how they grew.
improvement,
Yeah.
the improvement and the growth that they had throughout the season and towards the end. Like, some of the teams, even last season, we got surprised in the playoffs and stuff. Some of these teams that, don't finish out first in their group play, they might finish in the bracket
Yeah.
qualifying. So you never know what's going to happen, especially throughout this week when we have our bracket play on Thursday and Friday. And then tomorrow, we still have matches tomorrow in group play. Believe we don't have as many matches tomorrow as tonight, but we still have a lot of competition to go through throughout the week.
Hopefully no Ascent.
Oh, man. Come on, guys. Give me something else but Ascent. Give me Sunset. I want to see Sunset played so bad.
From the production team, we would like every team to just not play Ascent from now on. That'd be appreciated, especially after I think it was 7 games in a row.
Ascent is the highest picked match or map, which I'm kind of surprised by. Like, I don't like playing Ascent because it is very, and I will say it, like, especially for some of these new teams, if you go up against a team that's been playing, Ascent can be awful for you, especially if you have setups.
Yeah. I think Ascent has just became this base map, kind of like you see with other games like in CSGO. You have like Dust 2 has become the default map that everyone knows and plays. I think Ascent's kind of become that map of Valorant.
See, even on CSGO, I don't like playing Dust 2.
Yeah.
I don't like playing Dust 2. It's not fun. It's like you play the same maps over and over again. So, like, that's how I feel about Ascent. And it's a little easier to play when you've been around the same players. Like, if you've been playing with the same set 5 and you have setups, and some of these teams might not have setups, it's gonna be harder to break. Even if you have better gun skill, or some of these teams will be harder to break.
At the end of the day, it just comes out how much time you put in is what you'll get back out. So we'll
But
see how much time some of these teams put in.
yeah, the matches today was super fun to watch. At least we didn't have a 13-0 today. Just 13-2.
Close.
It was close. They pulled those two off right at the end.
12-0.
So we have a bunch of matches happening on tomorrow. If you guys haven't already, go check out Roboverse in the Discord. I'm going to have to play some Roboverse at some point.
Yeah, that's cool. Not gonna lie.
I know. I think it's awesome that we finally released Roboverse because I've been like sitting here. We've been kind of teasing it throughout the season, and we finally dropped it. So super. After this, I might go play some. Try to get ahead of some of these kids so I don't lose.
Like as an AI major, I think I can like make a super good robot, and, like just destroy everyone.
1v1.
Yeah, I'm down.
1v1.
I'm down.
All right. Well, we are gonna head out. We have a bunch of matches tomorrow night. Tune in, 6 p.m. tomorrow night. We will catch y'all tomorrow.